Hello and welcome back to the Voice of the Realm. We're here with the last match of the day, the last series of the day. Sorry, Quincy.
Both.
No, because series is the two things, and there's match, map, or game, which is one thing.
Yeah, but you apparently count match and map as the same,
Yes,
which is foolish.
it's not full.
It is. Because you could say a best of 5 match. You
No.
could not say a best of 5 map.
I would not. I would say a
Those
best of
cl-
5 series.
No, that's very clearly confusing, though.
Why?
Because you use them as the same.
There are 5 matches potentially in a best of 5 series.
That's so wrong.
That's like, you know how there's 2 shoes in a pair of shoes? Very similar.
Yeah, but you don't call, hey, this is one shoes, this is another shoes, and together they are shoes.
Oh, you're totally right. Oh, fuck. I forgot the match is plural. Wait a second. Match is singular.
No, it's not.
One match, 2 matches. It's
What
not
are you
like
talking
sheep,
about?
dude. It's not one sheep, 2 sheep. It's one match, 2 matches.
Whoa, wait a second here. You think that match, you can say, yes, they play 3 matches in one game. What are you saying?
You're
So
confusing
you don't use. How are you gonna call one map a match?
One map is one match or one game. And then you have
How?
a series, which is the whole thing.
How is a map the same as a match?
I don't know. Is what people call it.
No, it's not.
A match is a single game of something.
All right, you let us know in the chat. Do you call if a team is gonna play a best of 3 blank? What word do you use there?
Series.
Series or match? If a team is going to play a best of 1 blank,
It still would be a series, though.
well, that's different though.
Yeah,
if
you're
if they're gonna
confusing
play
a single.
if they're gonna play 1 blank as a best of 1 tiebreaker, what do you call that then? One map, 1 game, 1 series. I guess you could use anything for that
You
one.
can use
enough.
one map, one game, or one match.
Yeah,
You cannot use series.
you can use all of them for that one. I think you're wrong. Hot takes here. Hot takes here on Voice of the Realm between Avo Plus here. Sorry, Alvaro and myself, Richie. But
I would expect that you speak one language, speaking well. but,
well,
I guess
I
it's-
would expect you to, respect the person that speaks the language first of all, because obviously,
You made
if you're gonna use that insult against me, then that means that I have some superiority then in the conversation. Otherwise, the undermine doesn't work. That's the whole point of the attack.
Yeah, but unfortunately.
So unfortunately, you need to just shut up and take your lumps because we have a draft now.
the only
Quincy
time
Crew.
I've seen you this worked up is when I tried to hug you. This is the two
Uh,
things.
Quincy-
When I
well,
sneeze on you.
and when you sneezed on me, don't forget about that. You sneezed at me before a Zoomers match, and I was very upset
Yeah, I
with
went
you.
zoom.
So stupid.
But that was a mistake. Though.
Mama
I
Gunner
do
to
apologize about that one.
tweet at him how to cover his mouth when he sneezes.
I
'cause
did it the
apparently,
next time. I
Apparently,
learned.
nobody ever taught this guy.
I'm sorry. I was panicking because I was trying to find the mute button. It's in the front of the mic, and it's weird.
Oh goodness
We have a match.
gracious! We have a match.
In front of us.
The best of
draft.
2 series. Like that's so weird. We have
Actually, the best of 2 series also doesn't make sense in general in the language, right? Because it's not best of 2. Because you're not waiting to see who wins the 2 matches.
yes, you are.
No. Because if it can end at a tie, it's not the best of.
Yeah, it
There's no
is.
such thing as a tie in the series.
What are you talking about?
It's just 2 matches.
Have you ever heard of a little game called chess?
No, it's like
You know they can be co-champions in chess?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tie.
Yeah, but then it doesn't make sense to call it best of.
Yeah, they also call it maps though. They don't call it maps. They call it boards.
Do they actually?
Yeah,
Wow. I meant to call them games too.
they do.
Yeah. Or series. If it's the whole thing.
No, they call it series if depending on how many boards they're played.
Exactly. That's interesting. I didn't know that they call them boards. That's a fun fact. Yeah. Anyway, Faces Void. My favorite comment though is why do they call them maps? Map 1, map 2. If the map doesn't change. That was my favorite
The
comment.
map doesn't change. That's right, unless Valve decides to patch the game in between game 1s and 2. Wouldn't
Which
that be
will
exciting?
happen in South America though very often.
Yeah, I
actually.
don't know if it'll happen this month. I'm curious. If not this month, when is it going to happen, Valve?
I mean, they say the hero is coming out in late November, so it's going to come out at some point.
it has to. Yeah.
Well, to be honest though, late
Well,
November
wait,
does
late-
extend to. They didn't say what year.
Yeah, they didn't say what year. It's Valve time, late November. November 34th, maybe 37th, perhaps.
That's my birthday actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, November 37th. No, sorry, my birthday is
No, it's not.
November
It's,
75th.
yeah, there it is. That's right.
My math is off though.
Your math is off.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm off for my birthday on the 28th, so that'll be exciting.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's not my birthday yet, so I'm still working.
Happy preemptive birthday.
Thank you.
This is
Wow.
Void and Enchantress for the picks for Quincy Crew. We go for Kunkka and the Crystal Maiden for Omega Gaming. Of course, they picked the Kunkka. Kunkka for Dark Mago, most likely, though they also can play in the 3 position, even 4. Honestly, I know that this hero has not flexed 4 for a while, but I think now you could try it. I mean, we've seen the Ember for a bit, right? There's a power to the flex. Anyway, you do have last pick though, so surprisingly you pick your mid laner so early. Usually you would pick your carry, not your mid laner. So.
Against a team like Quincy, though, I think maybe you want to go for something a little different, right? But I think you also want to be bringing your A game, right? Because you know that they are going to be bringing their A game as well. I don't
Yeah,
know
so
if now is the time to be going for an offlane Kunkka if you've not definitely practiced it before.
Oh, sure, but I mean it more like if you're picking this early, I'm assuming that you kind of flex it a bit because otherwise I fail to see why you would... Like, it's now Quincy Crew has two advantages. One, they know that your Kunkka's mid, so they can pick their own mid laner, and they don't lose that matchup.
Yeah.
And two, on top of that, you also get to ban carries, right? Which they haven't actually banned offlaners instead, but you could have just banned carries and left Omega without options for the last pick. Because the last pick is an offlaner for Omega. Oscar is really good, but it's not that good that the last pick should be. Unless you pick like an Enigma, which is not really good this game. There you go. The Underlord immediately for Omega, and then Quincy Crew will get 2 extra carry bans, which is quite nice. Good Underlord pick, though. For now, Omega Gaming has a good draft. It's a very anti-Void draft.
Yeah, it's pretty decent against the Ench, right? Catcher, slow her down, lots of magic damage. Pit of Malice as well will scare her off. Pit of Malice in a Chrono, bo2 in a Chrono, Firestorm in a Chrono. There's a lot of things to ruin really Yowar's day here. Most likely going to be on the Faceless Void then. But you're right, they do ban a lot of carries here. Probably going to see the position 4 for Omega next, or maybe another flex if you still want to continue the Kunkka thing as well. But a very good Rubik game as well. Firestorm is amazing to steal by Rubik. Such a good spell to steal. Very easy to do it as well, usually, just because it's Pit of Malice into Firestorm, usually.
And either is actually really a spell to steal. If you steal Pit of Malice, you're not sad either. It's a really, really nice.
It's a really annoying route, too, for the Rubik. And it's really confusing if you put it on top of the other pit.
You can also steal Freezing Field relatively easily. There's a couple spells here for Rubik. It's a really good Rubik game, I agree. Nice little pickup by Quincy Crew. Also, your laning is pretty decent as Rubik. I wouldn't say you're as strong as, say, Lina, but you're definitely stronger than, say, Earth Spirit, at least in the lane itself.
Yeah.
You don't have as much ganking potential as Earth Spirit or Earthshaker, but you're much more useful at stopping the enemy carry. And there's especially useful when you know, or you assume most likely, that Omega's going to run their carry last pick, which means you're not going to be able to counter his lane, right? So picking up supports or offlaners that are consistent, that can win most matchups, is usually the way to go when you see that. Good drafted by Quincy Crew for now. I'm assuming a 4 now for Omega. Mm-hmm. I really like the Mirana, actually. I know they have... Oh, no, the Mirana's banned. Okay. I know the Mirana's really good. What are you going to go for then? You know, Wind Ranger's not too bad this game either. Oh, Skyrath. Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
I like the Skyrath.
That's a good... Okay, so now we have way too many ways. Not too many. I don't think you could have too many ways to kill a hero, but especially against the Ench, right? She is going to be no problem here, even in the lane.
She might have to go for Hood this game.
Yeah, she's definitely going to have to go for a Hood, if not for a full, at least a Glimmer, right? Is going to do her some good. There's just way too much damage for her. Good spell still for Rubik to seal, though, and then this is going to be a free stick game as well for Yowar, right? She's going to be throwing birds and concussive bolts the entire game, so he can just pick up a wand and always basically have guaranteed 20 charges. But, you know, it's, again, more anti-Chrono stuff. We don't... I mean, it's decent with X Marks, Pit Lord as well, even with the route out from Maiden. It's decent, but right now we still don't have, like, any amazing... I can't be too unhappy with the draft, actually, from Omega. I'm finding a way for me to dislike it, and to be honest, I think it's pretty well-rounded. It's a lot of magic damage, though.
They're missing a bit of team fight, which is a bit of an issue. That was the Pango. Nice response to the magic damage as well. Also flex, right? Can go mid or offlane.
Yep. Doesn't care for X, doesn't care for Pit.
This is a great way to stop the... Because usually the biggest weakness, actually, of first pick is that last phase. Because the last phase, you're completely outmatched. Your pick is terrible. The enemy team is great, right? So the best way to try to avoid being so weak is that now they don't know what to ban. Do I ban a mid lane or do I ban an off lane? I'm not really sure because Quincy Crew, they have clearly an idea in mind because there's nothing, they don't get to see anything, but it's much harder to ban perhaps what they're thinking about, right? Pango's really good here against the Underlords, fantastic against the Skyrath Mage, good against the Kunkka. And Omega Gaming, as of now, has a more single target than they do have Teamfight. Teamfight is okay, but it's more, their teamfight is more oriented towards the early mid game. Once it goes into late, the Chrono and the Rolling Thunder are much more powerful teamfight spells than Pit of Malice.
Rolling Thunder is just fantastic at all stages of the game here, to be honest.
It's so good. It's such a good spell.
It's a really good spell, yeah. And
you don't have anything to stop it either.
Nope, nothing. You completely, literally ignore basically the entirety of Omega. They can't realistically kill you either. It's not like they have a Sven PA who can just throw a dagger at you or something like that, you know, and you try and...
Or any ranged core, actually, in general. It's not like they... I mean, yeah, you mentioned Sven PA, good idea, but in general, they don't have a single ranged core that can right-click you, which is actually one of Pango's weaknesses. Mm-hmm. If you're up against a Drow, for example, that's why they ban the Drow.
You just get clicked down. A TB has the same.
Or a Sniper, even. Have you ever seen that again? Like, Sniper's really annoying against Pango. That's actually the best counter. People always think of the Beastmaster or the Bloodseeker, and obviously those are the most, like, obvious counters. Yeah. But getting a good range carry is obviously very useful.
Or a Grin.
Or what? Grim is also very nice.
Grimstroke's really nice to have as well.
Because he stops the Pango from rolling.
And then if you link him to somebody, they can't move further than the Pango because he's locked down.
Exactly, that's true. So it's like having a Dream Coil.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. It's like having a what are those things called in the movies or in the old cartoons with that they would, what the heck? How could you guess so early? That was such an early guess. You know those things they have introduced? A compass, a frying pan, a baseball bat. No, hold on. Oh my goodness. They have around the prisoners the big old ball and chain. You know,
it's called ball and chain, dude.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think so. Shackles?
Shackle.
I guess you could call
a big old shackle. That's basically what it's like when you a Grimstroke ulti a Pango.
Look at that. They literally banned to range carries.
I was gonna think the gyro as well. It's looking pretty good this game.
Very smart.
Yeah, it's good bans as well.
Yeah, very, very good. Omega's banning offlaners for now. I think LC is okay. LC can also go mid, of course, and beat the Kunkka, so kind of a flex pick there. In fact, Quincy would benefit a lot from getting a flex pick mid here, so it's really hard to beat them. But since, like, I think Omega kind of lost the flexing position of the Kunkka, right? Because it's clearly, it's either Kunkka or Underlord, I guess, they can go mid, theoretically, if you want to like experiment something weird, right? If you really get a bad matchup for the Kunkka. I don't know. I think a DP here is actually really good for Quincy, particularly. To beat... Oh, no, never mind. It's banned. Okay, nice. So they protected the Kunkka well. What are some good heroes against the Kunkka? I mean, Pango is fine, honestly.
That's what I mean. I think the Pango is fine. I
go an offlane here.
Probably prefer to look for an offlaner here. The problem is... I mean, I don't know. Maybe with Drow and Gyro ban, you just pick a Slardar. Or Timber. Okay, so kind of along the similar vein, just a really, really annoying offlaner, right? Yeah. That you can hope to win the lane with. Lawless is amazing on the Timber as well. He can create a lot of space, and that puts Omega here in a little bit of a difficult situation because of the bans. Because
you also banned... Oh, it's true. You banned all the range carries.
Sorry, the Slardar is banned, so that wasn't an option.
You banned a lot of range carries here, so that means that the Timbersaw is like, literally, what do you pick against them? The options that remain are like Slark, for example. It's kind of decent. Timbersaw is weak against Terrorblade in lane, but Terrorblade loses to Timbersaw in the mid game, and Terrorblade is also bad against Pango. But Terrorblade's good against Faces Void, so you might consider that.
I mean, we were talking about it earlier. I don't really like it that much because the hero's awful, but maybe a sniper.
No, you can't play him carry even today. I think Maiden would be viable, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Honestly, don't hate the Slark or the Ursa here.
Okay, the Ursa.
Yeah, because like you're going against a Timbersaw and you don't want to get a really, really bad matchup. Ursa's actually kind of decent. The only thing is that meta doesn't favor him too much. But Ursa will be the Timbersaw in lane. He's quite good against the Faces Void because you can enrage and not within Chrono. You have to get Ags for that, but you can enrage before the Chrono, of course, because the cast point is quite large. And you have a lot of good single target. You have a relatively early tempo your lineup, and you want to play around that. I think Quincy's draft is much easier to play, like heaps easier to play, because you don't have a window where you're gonna stop becoming weak, right? You're just strong the whole game most of the time. But Omega Gaming has a really explosive early mid game with the Skywrath Mage, Kunkka, and Crystal Maiden combo. Even the Ursa can join in with them.
You've really liked this explosive word recently. It's been one of your favorite words today. Word of the day, explosive.
It's a strong combo.
It's strong. It's
because
strong.
The only way to describe these kind of lineups, I don't know how else to describe it. When everyone hits their peaks at the same time, when you draft that way, you're kind of trying to play explosive. You're making it so that once you get that peak, you're going to destroy the enemy team. And you have like a small window of opportunity where they cannot beat you. No matter what you do, you can fuck up as much as you want, and they're not going to beat you, which is, with Skywrath Mage Kunkka, it's going to be impossible. You just need to get the Mystic Flare combo, of course. The question, though, is how much can you use this peak? Because Omega does not have pushing, right? So they're going to rely entirely on getting kills.
They're awful at pushing.
Yeah, so they only have kills and choking the enemy team. So it's difficult to play their lineup. I would go for Quincy Crew, and in general, because their draft seems easier to execute, and because their execution tends to be better than Omega, even with yesterday's loss against 4 Zoomers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for Quincy as well. I think they're just really good. They're just a really strong team, honestly. It's going to be a hard match for Omega. I think they gave themselves at least a good draft here to try and contend with it. But I think once this goes a little bit later than 20 minutes, we're going to start to see the tides turn.
And now before we go into the game, a message from our sponsors. You might like Omega or you might like Quincy Crew, but what this channel likes is a follow from you.
Welcome back, everyone. In game here to begin our final series, our final match, our final best of two. Who knows what we call it here, as we are either way in our last of one of two games, as we, of course, have a bit of pausing out from Omega. Of course, playing on the US East servers can sometimes be the expected thing for sure here. But Quincy crew, of course, I think a lot of, for these guys, the teams to beat, you know, teams to beat. Oh, shout out to that guy in chat who wants to punch me. Love it.
What? Oh my goodness! I was trying to read to see who won the argument about the match versus series.
I was looking
it's
for
kind of
that,
inconclusive,
and then
right?
they say, "I want to punch this caster on the left." You know what, brother? It's okay. I forgive you.
You know what, brother? As we say, as you would say in Peru. You know, this is my favorite phrase in Peru. When you like ask for a fight, right?
Yeah.
They go and say "parao sin polo," right? It's a bit of an older meme, but it's still said, and that means like. Yeah, it means I will stand here, right, without a shirt. That's what I love the most. Like, I am here, I am shirtless, come at me, bro. But I love that the phrase includes the shirtless. Like, it's very important, the sin polo part.
It is.
Absolutely love it.
It
That's
is.
what you should say. Parao sin polo, amigo.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. As we'll be getting underway here after we get resumed. Hopefully very shortly here. Just waiting for the Skyrath to reconnect. But I would imagine they're going to be ready here. Let's see, SVG. No stick yet. You are probably not going to buy a stick either, but it'll be the first item out almost 100%, especially because usually you end up going for more now the concussive shot we tend to see, especially against more mobile heroes like the Ench, and you can just kill her a bunch in this lane along with Oscar. Well, we don't have Untouchable as we get the reconnects, and we are good to go.
All right, always nice. Who was the Discrets, by the way? Was it also the two Peruvian players?
Yes,
No.
it was.
Oh, no, because Inza's Bolivian.
Oh.
So one Peruvian, one Bolivian. Equality for everyone, right?
Equality.
Everyone gets bad internet.
It's true. Thank
Are you from South America? We don't care what country you come from. You will not be able to play Dota properly.
Gracias a Robistar.
Robistar, Robafon, muchas gracias.
Thank you.
And let's not forget about Claro, which is clarobar.
Yeah, basically, the Spanish community has a bunch of memes about what they name their ISPs.
Yes,
And
we just add steel to the beginning or the end of it.
That's the beauty about Spanish. It blends, you know, it's like poetry. It rhymes.
It does blend much easier because unlike English, most of our words either come from Latin or Arabic, right? So they have very similar endings and beginnings, whereas English comes from like what 15 different languages, to be honest, right?
Something like that.
It's much more diverse of a language in that sense.
Yep. We got very fun words and lots of silent letters.
Yes, and sometimes some letters are silent, sometimes some letters are not.
It depends, you know, it depends how they're feeling that day.
When I was learning this language, it was very frustrating for me. I would be like, they would teach me, because in Spanish the H is always silent. I'm like, okay, so the H is silent in fight and light, that's great, but why have? Why does it pronounce and have?
Not
This
at the
makes no
beginning
sense.
of a word, unlike Ector, right, which you really don't pronounce it. You kind of give it a little bit of the jarl, right, but not really there.
It depends on what country you come from. Some places in South America particularly have an accent that pronounce the H slightly. Very similar to how some Americans will say what. It's like what? You know?
What? Yeah. Very fun. Anyway, they're going to try and go for a kill here top, but INS is going to be fruitless here, as there's no way Lelis is going to be considering giving them first blood. This lane's already hard enough for them as it is, especially because early on, the Rubik telekinesis is absolutely a joke. It doesn't do really anything. It basically, you just move them a little bit, and that's it.
If you can do that, because you have to be really quick to actually
you
move
do.
them
It's even, I mean, these guys, I imagine, can do it. Right? MSS, he's played quite a few Rubik games, so I'm sure he can. But it's quite the challenge, right? It is very difficult, and it's pretty useless. So they do well to play this one very, very defensively. So, I mean, Gate here on the Ursa is going to set up shop here, of course, with the Fury Swipes level 1. And that'll be the lane here pretty nicely, especially early on here in favor of Omega. But we'll check on here in a little bit. I think mid lane is going to be pretty fun to watch. Quinn, calm, cool, and collected, as always, back on the Panclear. I think this is a hero that, when he does pop off on, he is pretty unstoppable.
I would argue that he's one of the best mid-Pangoliers in America, or in general. Like, he really likes the hero. No offense, Lucky. I know you're the best Pango in general, but the Quinn is just a really, really good Pango player in the mid lane. I think he understands. Particularly what I like about him is that, yes, he's a good Pango mechanically, which is already hard to do, but he understands very much the tempo of this hero, and also where to fight. Pango adds a lot of that to the game. You have to understand when and where to fight at the same time. And sometimes it's hard because you're very pressured trying to make plays, and you make the wrong plays. I rarely see Quinn making this mistake, to be honest. He's just a good, really good player, man. Quinn is incredibly solid. I
He
think
is.
if you think that this guy doesn't know how to play mid, you are awfully mistaken.
I think you are incorrect about that one, and you
You're
should
an ignorant
reevaluate.
fool.
You should
Exactly.
reevaluate what your definition is on what a good mid laner is.
Mhm.
'Cause I
Well,
think-
now he's being crushed by the Kunkka, but it's to be expected. Kunkka does have a beneficial matchup, especially in the beginning. Pango needs to recover from the harassment of the Typebringer, and then you can start playing it more aggressively with a second point Lucky Shot, because that actually allows you to harass.
For Skywrath Mage in some trouble here. You are looking for a bash. Just get it on the first one. Unfortunately, that's going to be a kill attempt onto INS. INS looking to stand his ground and fight here. Fairy Fire on Fairy Fire. The supports are sparring. Oscar joins the fight, but there's more Fairy Fires here for INS. He's got 2 of them, actually. And that's going to be a win and first blood in his favor.
That's not too great. Not too great. The Enchanters versus Skywrath Mage in the early really can kill each other because Skywrath has no armor, right? So you can actually hurt him a lot with enchant creeps. But I think the mistake here for SVG was trying to fight before he gets enchant level 2. Because enchant level 2 is when you can really take a creep for a while, and he actually has a fair amount of bonus damage. It's like a whole minute for a creep. And you should be able to beat the Skywrath Mage relatively easily then. But when you fight level 1, Impetus is just not what Skywrath Mage cares about. He has an okay HP pool, actually. It's really the armor.
I've seen him more use the enchants exactly for this, for kill attempts, especially onto a hero like the Skywrath Mage, who generally doesn't need boots too early on in the lane. As you know, these 2 heroes really both excel based on their high movement speed, or their high base move speed, I should say. So, of course, SVG is going to have a big advantage here when he uses the enchants, because INS is not going to be able to run away from him, even though that's usually what a Skywrath Mage usually likes to do. He just pokes and prods, and he's annoying, and then when you start, running at him, he goes, oh, I'm faster. Guess what? You have boots, and I don't, and I'm still fast.
Yeah, exactly. Skywrath Mage is, I think, I want to say second fastest hero in the game. I'm pretty sure.
Not sure.
Not sure, because Enchantress is up there.
Coddle is up there as well. Has been got there. Some trouble here versus Lelis. Timber Chain available in another second. 3 stacks of the Fury Swipe. He's got the Timber Chain here and the Healing Salve. Not using it quite yet, and therefore he is going to die. Ursa doing a front flip on him, killing him with style. Double kill up in the top lane here for Omega. Kind of to be expected, right? It's a really, really tough lane for Quincy.
Yeah, but they're gonna. I mean, also kudos to Omega, for playing this lane as hard as possible because they know they have to get kills and put a lot of pressure in this lane. And if this lane goes really well, you do regain the option to go for the Battle Fury, right? Even if it's a bit slower of a build in this game, as long as you give the Ursa enough of a head start in the lane and you slow down Quincy Crew's game, you could opt for the Battle Fury, and that would give you much more reliability in that mid game. Look how much damage though he does with Swashbuckle is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's doing a lot. He does well to stay within experience range at least while the melee or while the creeps are dying. No chance to get an experience range for this wave. The wave's going to push anyway, so he's going to go home. Dark Mago will do the same. Of course, he's got a nice advantage because he can just X mark himself and he'll be back. I believe he has a bottle. Yeah, full bottle, so he is good to go. Even gives a sip on over to INS, who will now leave the lane. He's like, all right, here's your bottle sip. Get out of here. Give me my solo XP. Go bottom. They actually need you. Oscar is getting bullied right now by Yawar. Hit a Malice drop, but it's not going to make the difference. He will end up dying to the likes of SVG here with the Theodore Tormentor.
Alright, not too bad. That was a kill on the offlaner, right? You're taking advantage of the one lane that I can argue you might be able to win, which is the... I mean, not like Void is a good matchup against Underlord, but SVG really makes up for this. INS, he's trying to regain the high ground. Nice. SVG only sends the creep, very smart. If he goes there himself, he might get punished, but with the creep, he gets the vision regardless. And they won't detect INS's ward, though. He was playing aggressively thanks to this ward here, which would give him advantage in the nighttime regardless. And this also allows him to get the double bounty runes, I believe. Oh, no. He already... What? Oh, no. 3 bounty runes actually went to Quincy. Oh, that's really bad, actually. I was not expecting him to take the top bounty runes, but I guess Ursa was too busy farming. And
Ursa's too busy farming, and yeah, Maiden is going to be pulled in, and they got kind of more important things to do, right? Ursa, he's a strong laner, but definitely he thrives on having lane control, right? If you lose the lane control, it gets really, really difficult for him. Having creep equilibrium in your favor and just having the creep where you want them is real important for him. Because he needs to, he's a decent last hitter, but only because of Fury Swipes. His base damage is pretty low, of course, especially for a melee hero, as Oscar, speaking of pretty low, is going to take a second death. MSS rotating over to him. Not really much he can do here to help Lelis, so better just to give him solo experience and get more kills onto the bot laner.
Oh, nice. Oh, no, the flag! The flag stopped Quinn from getting the third hit. Darkmago actually found a little place to hide, but it's not going to be good enough. And for now, Panda has to rotate. Took a bit too long. Quinn will get punished with a ghost ship. And that's going to be a dead Pangolier. He's an endangered species, Dark Mago. Don't you
Yeah,
even
he is.
care. They're going to try to kill him with the impetus. Nice evasion thanks to the illusion rune. And MSS now could be in trouble as the Frostbite stops him. Telekinesis though. MSS is quick on his fingers, but the Scarlet Mage joins the fray and guarantees this kill. SVG almost out of mana, trying to finish off this Crystal Maiden, but she's just a bit too good this game. That win is giving her the extra movement speed she needs to survive this engagement, and they're going to finish him off with a Frostbite.
Yeah, I'm surprised that got the kill. I thought Dark Mago was going to get it. They dragged the entire group wave over, so he CS's the wave, gets the cleave damage, and then Panda with the ticking damage there from the Frostbite ends up receiving the kill. But I believe that's 3 kills in the mid lane there in favor of Omega, as Lelis actually missed the Timber Chain there. He's going to take a lot of damage out from this now. But he's okay. This time he is going to hit him with the second Timber. Mingate, though, does have the Enrage, considering going a bit further, forces the TP out from SVG, needs to run away a little bit more. He's going to eat one more tower hit. There's the enchant. Lelis can't really make this jump, especially with the 6 stacks of the Fury Swipes. Mingate looking to turn, of course, has the Enrage. Does not have, however, Overpower, but might not need it here for the kill, as he pops the wand charges. Decent HP, but now Lelis returning the favor, and SVG with a nice little impetus attack is going to get the kill onto the bear. A little back and forth. Quincy not playing him there.
Yawar fighting him in the top lane. Careful.
It's okay.
This is Void.
Yeah, no points in Ancient Seal yet, so he's fine. He might not know that. He probably does know that, because it's been a long time since we've actually had Skywrath Mage getting any serious experience, unfortunately. He has been suffering a bit in terms of XP. Yeah, he's still doing it bad. Usually, the way I judge supports is, you know, what are they looking like? They're TP and top, by the way. They have the Chronosphere. And now with Chakra, maybe a kill, but Maiden is here. Panda willing to fight, as they will now drop the Chronosphere onto 2, but Lelis is not going to be able to do any damage here immediately. He doesn't have any trees nearby either for a Whirling Death, so he's going to have to Timber Chain into the trees. Now Panda might be the one to take the death here, as Mingata immediately back to CSing like nothing happened, but they will enchant him. Yawar, if he gets a few bashes here, that could do the trick. Needing another impetus attack. Stick charge is keeping Mingate alive. Lelis getting juked for once, as Yawar taking a bit of damage, but the impetus will come through eventually out from SVG, who nearly dies to the tower, but will stay alive. 2 kills thus far. Lelis looking for a third onto INS. The Hadouken Crypt is going to do a little bit more damage. 120, not bad. Another bash out from Yawar, as they will try and get the kill onto SVG, but no chance. And they will strike back. Quincy, 3 kills in the top lane here to equalize the kill score at 6 apiece.
I like the Hadouken Crypt as well. Thank God he's in one of the Bloods. That would be scary. They're going to take Mask of Madness first for Yawar. Now they swapped lanes completely. Not going to have the worst time for Mask of Madness. Quinn, though, has been stopped a fair amount, mainly because of the rotations towards the mid lane. They understood how powerful it was to be able to stop this Bango from, you know, rolling out of control. No pun intended. And the guys from Quincy crew are now feeling slightly threatened, but not to the degree that Omega was hoping for, right? When you pick up an Ursa, you're kind of hoping for a much better lane than this. And Mingata is still opting for the Battle Fury, which is going to slow down his farm considerably. We'll see how this works out for them. For now, it's up to the rest of Omega to create the space that Ursa won't be able to be making, because he's going to be going for the Battle Fury instead.
It's been a while since I've seen Ursa Battle Fury. You know, I think it's
been a while since he Ursa in
yeah, same, I guess, right? The two go hand in hand, obviously. Because I feel like sometimes Mask of Madness into Basher, or basically not the Abyssal Rush. Now MKB is just so good too. There's so many good items that you want on Ursa, as SVG will take a death. They did commit the boat for that one, however. Does have a DD rune here, willing to fight, as Quinn considering using the Rolling Thunder. Still rotating around. Mr. Stomps does have that War Stomp available. No silence here onto the Faceless Void, and that's going to allow Mingate to come in and just hit him once. But we are in the pinball zone here. Dark Mago is unable to dodge the next bounce out from Quinn. Another one, and into the Swashbuckle. Quinn utilizing the terrain beautifully there, and is going to get the kill onto the Kunkka.
That is a very, very clean execution. That's what I was talking about when I say, like, where to fight, right? He knew exactly. Like, there's not even the best pinball spot, because it's actually kind of open. But once they go up the stairs is when you can really, really pinball them, right? And it worked really well. Congratulations. Mingate in trouble here in the top lane. Telekinesis is ready. Bring him back. Emerson is quick. Honestly, I'm impressed he's constantly being able to lift him back, right?
Yeah, he's got the 1 point in Arcane Supremacy now, so it helps a little bit, right? It helps a little bit, but yeah, it's not easy to do. But of course, like I said, he's got no shortage of games on the Rubik, right? So he can definitely execute that. pretty reliably. The one to suffer then out of the lane stage the most is going to be Omega, actually, after that nice little fight there. They are going to be pushing the mid-tier 1, but Oscar is a little weak, all things considering. Lilith rotating in. They're going to try and stop a Rolling Thunder from coming through there with the Pit of Malice. Oscar now looking to retreat, as they're going to throw a Quinn back into the pit here. Actually, a third time. Some decent damage done there. However, it's going to be Mingate in all of this actually getting the only kill of the engagement, with SVG trying to invade the jungle there and be annoying.
Oh, for now, we didn't really speak about one thing, but there's another factor why Mingate is actually not trying to play this super aggressively. It's called the Enchantress. Enchant actually takes away your overpower, which is a big deal. Oh, Rubik, can he get away?
Oh, they missed the Mystic Flare, but it doesn't matter. Maybe they didn't miss with the Mystic Flare. I couldn't actually tell.
It was just barely the edge. Got him at the beginning. And
little corner spot there, Quinn.
No, you can still get into it,
Oh,
dude. I don't know why these guys keep thinking that they're going to be safe there. Yeah, he dies. I mean, what? The Enchantress being nearby. Quinn's very puzzled because this is the second time they tried to do this, and both times he's gotten a kill as a result. Because I guess they think that he can't angle it to get inside there. I don't know. It does push you to the low ground if you get hit there, but in many cases Pango doesn't care because he's looking for the damage early. It's much more relevant when you get into the mid game. Then being pushed to the low ground means a lot, right? Because you can't get pinballed, of course. But yeah, as I was mentioning, Enchantress is a really good, nice counter as well to the Ursa because it dispels the overpower. So Ursa is not get really easy early kills because you can just enchant them off, and you don't have as much burst damage. So if you went for like a Blink Dagger, like a Basher build or whatever, wouldn't be as effective. I kind of see that as the reasoning behind the Battle Fury as well. If you don't have enough farm, you're not going to be too relevant on the Ursa, unfortunately, in this game.
Yeah, and that's why the Battle Fury can slow him down, right? So he's not going to have this traditional early Ursa power spike. But, you know, it used to be Blink Dagger. Wow, could you imagine, you know, an Ursa building a Blink Dagger today? First item, right? We would be probably questioning it just a little bit, or at least calling it an old build, as Panda will get nuked down there quite easily. Centaur, unfortunately, is not going to get another stomp off before he times out. SVG kind of trapped on the cliff here, ticking down to the Firestorm, but is going to stay alive and now decides to TP out. He just wants to lose most of his HP, and then he'll leave.
Okay, well that, honestly, not the best early game, I guess, for Omega, but they have changed their tempo a bit with the way that Ursa is playing, so I am assuming that they're more looking for that mid game instead with the Kunkka. Looking at his build, Heaven's Halberd seems okay, but it's not explosive, as I like to say. Right? It's not really going to give you a huge advantages with Heaven's Halberd.
This Rubik might explode, though. Oh, no, they messed up the X-Mark combo. Never mind.
What? Okay, I don't think he realized he messed it up because Darmago just walked in with double damage super confidently. They can still enchant it off. They don't have it right now. There we go. Finally it done. Rolling Thunder, the pinball. This guy's like, guys, I thought we were playing Uber, not that pinball. Wrong app.
Oof.
Kill off INS for free as well. Dark Rift actually worked against them because the Underroad was the main tank there.
Stolen X-Mark, by the way, from Rubik.
Oh, the Chaos Crystal Maiden up top, though the Ursa is beating the Void here. Yawar has to escape. He has the Chrono still ready if he wants to fight against Mingate. Doesn't have enough damage within the Chrono to kill Mingate. Forced the Enrage as well. Very smart there by Yawar.
Yeah, he's out of there.
Yeah.
They're both like, I'm going to finish Battle Fury before you. No, I will. You know, and it's going to be Mingate finishing it, though. He's already got his courier in the secret shop here. Just needs that Void Stone, which he will need 1 or 2 more creeps here to get, and then he'll have the Battle Fury on the way. They will get a kill, however, onto MSS. Dark Mago, proving that his X-Mark is, in fact, superior. As he will then get to do some damage here to the tier 1, but they are chasing down Mingate now. Oh, and this is going to slow down his Battle Fury. Yawar already used the Chrono as well, but it's going to be Quinn finding the kill overall, and that is going to maybe allow Yawar to just... Nah, he's still way too far off, actually.
Something that reminds me, something that Winter told me a while ago that reminds me a bit of how Quincy played. God damn, Quinn. God, why? I was about to praise him as well. He dies immediately.
No, you can. He's got 40 seconds to tune in and listen.
Exactly, right? Yeah, so the thing is that he was telling me that I really rang true with me is that a lot of teams, when they start losing, they change the way they play. And the right plays are still the right plays, whether you're winning or losing. And here, Quinn, for example, lost his lane, but instead of taking a bunch of time to try to recover, he instead tried to create space, because that's what his role is this game as a Pango, right? You can't afford to just spend a bunch of time farming. And instead it was a Timbersaw actually took more of the farm. Yeah. Which was really appropriate for Quincy Crew. And yes, now he dies and that was an unnecessary death, but in general, Quinn has been an active member of Quincy Crew. He's been creating a lot of space, slowing down Omega's farm, and allowing the Void to farm also reliably, despite the fact that his lane did not go so well. So kudos to him. That's how you're supposed to play.
I agree. I think sometimes, you know, this is not always going to ring true, because sometimes you draft a mid laner that just needs an item, right? Like the TA needs a first item, whether it's the Deso or the Blink, you're just not going to be able to get it done. Whereas Pango is a much different hero, right? Of course, he is strong without items. items. Even that first item of a Javelin, which isn't really as expensive as most other first items, gives him a lot of kill potential once he's level 6. As they will be able to just nuke down SVG. Poor thing can't do really anything there. Quinn considering to now turn the fight, as they will be able to cancel that freezing field very easily. They didn't steal it. They just won X mark, which is probably the better steal to have for right now, as Quinn unfortunately is going to get stuck there for a second. They need everyone to get into the Uber, however. INS.
They
cancel it. They want to fight here. As the boat ship will now drop onto Yawar. He is now dead. No one really wanted to fight here in the Firestorm. They will silence up MSS. He's got Torrent stolen now, as Lelis back up to the high ground he goes. Has the Chakra, but INS should be off and away, as now joining the fight is Mingata here with the Battle Fury, willing to show up and fight. Quinn has Swashbuckle in 1 second, but Rooted and Torrented cannot go anywhere. There's no X mark here for another 7 seconds, so they should have Lelis easily able to escape. 4 kills for nothing here in favor of Omega. A good engagement.
Okay, that is a bit of a mistake, I would say, by Quincy. They kind of got, it was like moths to a light, right? They saw Underlord TPing, and they're like, oh, kill, kill, kill. Well, they didn't take a moment to even consider if they could fight that, because they just wasted their own Thunder trying to get into the fight. Obviously, they didn't have that. No Chrono either. Timbersaw is strong, but hasn't dominated the early enough for him to just walk in like that. And the Ursa is a good counter to Timbersaw at any point in the game, which is why I like the Ursa pick. Yeah, I don't know. That was unnecessary, I would say, by Quincy Crew. They could have played it a bit better. Omega did bait them really smartly, though. That was a very good play by Omega. They knew they could fight that because they knew the ultimates were on cooldown. So, yeah, why not? Ursa's too powerful right now. Yeah. Even with Battle Fury, Ursa can fight easy.
Yeah, especially once he finally gets a point into the overpower, right? That actually lets him be a little bit more of a presence in these team fights, especially because you do cleave off of the damage that you effectively do to the target, so you actually are cleaving for a lot more than a Battle Fury normally would cleave for, which is good because, again, Ursa's got pretty pitiful base damage, not too impressive.
And bad stack gain.
Bad stack gain, yep. Depends a lot on bonus damage.
Can they eat the spare? Yes. Apparently not. They're going to have deer for dinner first as the freezing field stops Rubik from initiating here. And Rubik's like, I just wanted to steal that, but now I'm going to get hit by a boat. Water, nice combine to finish off MSS.
One's down here.
I don't know how easy it is to get this kill. Oh, they come in with this Mystic Flare. It hits them.
Firestorm.
The silence is lasting too long. They have X marks, but let us good Yules. Oh, they stopped his. Did you see what happened there? They stopped his Timber Chain with a GG tree there. Smart.
Nicely done. Yeah, nicely done. Lelis trying to, I think, going wide to flank, but really just ends up overextending and then becomes another kill there at the end of that little engagement. Omega then now leading by 5 kills and 4,000 golds. That's going to be enough money, once the courier respawns, that is, for Dark Mago to finish off his Halberd. Very strong item here this game. It's going to help mitigate a lot of the damage out from Yawar, if you can get that off before the Chrono, for example, who, by the way, Yawar still doesn't have the Battle Fury. Again, he's gone for the Mask of Madness first and full power treads, but it still is a bit slow, isn't it?
I mean, it's, I guess considering these two factors, not that slow, but it just feels bad because it's slow considering the game, right? I'm not really judging it in the Void.
That's fair.
But considering this game, considering how fast Ursa's Battle Fury, or relatively fast Ursa's Battle Fury was, it does feel a bit bad for you because Void is still going to take a while to initiate. And you don't really have great combos within the Chrono besides the... Oh, you don't have any good combos in the Chrono. So the Chakra maybe...
probably.
Yeah, right? Like, not much damage in the Chrono. So Void can't really fight without items like a lot of Voids can. I see the Void Battle Fury much more commonly when you have some sort of combo within the Chrono. So Void just Chronos early, and then later he brings the damage to the Chrono. But who cares if he has damage early? Because you have Phoenix or Snapfire or whatever.
They're going to smoke under ward here. Omega are going to go for it. We do have Valor Discord on Skywrath Mage as well, and the Halberd delivered to our Kunkka. But I think Quincy, they're going to back off and try not to engage here. Lelis will break the smoke. Get rooted by Oscar. He might be dead. Yule Scepter. They're waiting to bait that one out, but he's going to get rooted a second time here. Nice job. Good job there chaining the CC. They were very wise about that.
Yep, and now the Gosha, the match catch the Rubik as well. There we go. MSS, they hit the Torrent. And with that, they'll guarantee the kill. Another good 2 kills here for Omega. And meanwhile, by the way, Ursa's not even participating. Ursa went straight for the Roche now, which she's going to take relatively easily. He is an Ursa after all. Nobody can really contest this. Quinn could have tried maybe with Rolling Thunder if Timbersaw was alive, but not anymore. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my god, Mingata's taking it so quick.
He did have 30-some stacks on there at the very end, so or 20, nearly 30. Okay, so yeah, that'll do it, right? But yeah, you're right. It's Ursa. That's what he do, baby, right?
Yeah, that is. He's the best Roche taker. Yeah, he's the best Roche taker in the game, I would say. Up there with maybe Slardar, though. Slardar's really good.
Slardar's really good, but Slardar is really good at helping you take Roche.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
He's definitely a Roche enabler, that's for sure.
That's true. And Ursa's more of the Roche murderer.
Yes, exactly. He's, Roshan sees Ursa coming into the pit, and he goes, "Why did I steal this Aegis? I shouldn't have done that." And he's regretting that decision,
But can you imagine you're just a big beast of stone? Like, you're this lumbering creature, mythical, incredible creature that pretty much cannot die, and just an angry bear comes into your pit. It's like, oh, we're done.
Fuzzy Wuzzy, Fuzzy Wuzzy coming in there. He kills you, and then he does a front flip, and he starts hitting on his symbols, and his son that's riding on top of him as well. Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. What are you going to do? I mean, Gata does not have the Immortal, unfortunately.
I think that's actually his official name, by the way, now in Dota 2. Because I know that in Dota 1, Fuzzy Wuzzy, much like, for example, Klink's had... I think Klink's was Klink's Spartwood, for example, or no, Klink's Eastwood, like as a joke, So like each heroes had a joke name, like Yafit's, for example, for Shadowfiend is a legendary Shadowfiend player, etc. But Ursa's joke name was Fuzzy Wuzzy, but I think that's his actually official name in Dota 2 lore. I'm not really certain about that, but I think it is like a official nickname that they have for him.
I think I'm not sure. Obviously, he refers to himself as Fuzzy Wuzzy sometimes.
I love it. It's
fucking
hilarious. Oh. It's so cute as well. The lore about Ursa is also great, right? Because he's there to protect the Cubs in like a matriarchal society. So he's the soldier, of course.
Big items, though, on the side of Omega here, as we're going to get now the Yasha, just a casual Yasha for Ursa, and then he's going to go straight into the BKB right after. He's already got the Ogre Club. He might consider changing it up. No, it doesn't look like it. Go BKB into the Basher. Casual Yasha for now, huh? Okay.
I think he was considering going for Sunjin Yasha, but then he saw, oh, no, I need a BKB, right? So he just turned that Ogre axe into BKB. The Manta style is not bad this game, honestly, because of a couple things to dispel. For the lucky shot, but also, I mean, even Fade Bolt is kind of annoying. Enchant in some cases annoying, like I mentioned. Like it's just a general useful spell, right?
Yeah.
Or useful dispel. And I love that they're drawing spirals on the map. I
will say, I mean, the Fade Bolt's annoying, right? But it's only your base damage reduction, right?
Oh, I guess Ursa doesn't care about it too much.
Yeah, he doesn't really care. It's nice to have, of course, but definitely Enchant and definitely for the lucky shot, though, are the two big ones. Maybe even Whirling Death if you want your armor back, right?
Yeah, I guess, because you're an agility hero. Who cares? Ursa forgets this about it, because honestly, Ursa actually has a bigger strength gain than agility gain as well. Much like Arc Gordon, for example. That's admin. He will remind you. You will not get more pause than he.
No, he's on top of his shit. It's always
one
nice
of the best admins I've worked with. This is incredible.
To have admins like this. But we also do now have the Battle Fury completed on Yawar, who is then going to double back now for the BKB. So Mask of Madness into Battle Fury. And then just, an item in case he needs to start fighting. Still kind of lacks the damage into Chrono. And like we were saying, they don't have the best damage into Chrono. At least, not a wide array of damage unless they're all really, really well placed. Luckily, Pango has the option, vector targeting, so he can always usually line up two people with a swashbuckle quite easily, but then that can always put him in a poor position immediately after, right? So you have to be aware of that. Chakram as well, maybe you can get some good damage in there. Fade Bolt, same thing. Impetus, the same thing, right? But we saw definitely a lot of things to be just tossed into Chrono to make life very, very difficult, or things to toss around the Chrono as well, right? Lots of good heroes here on the side of Omega to play around the Chronosphere.
Yep. Yeah. It's gonna be a bit of a difficult situation right now for Quincy, because Omega has been able to play their game. I was kind of worried about if they were going to be able to get to this point in the game where they're dominating. But like I mentioned earlier, the Battle Fury makes your game so much more secure, because it opens up your window opportunity, right? It goes from like a little tiny open window to like a full blasted porch at this point.
Yeah, the tiny window gets grow level 3, and he's huge after that.
I like that one. That's a good pun there.
Restarting modem. Yeah, just some internet issues there. Thank you, Robistar. But the thing is, Lelis is going to have a pretty crappy game from here on until he gets the Lotus. The Lotus is going to be a really, really nice thing, because then he's going to have a double dispel for himself. Because right now they have Pit of Malice, and even if he, and Atos, so he can Yules off the first one and dodge some of the damage, but then they just wait for him to come back down, and they hit him with the Trusty Net, and then he's just dead.
The clumsy net.
The clumsy net. Yes, thank you.
No, it is a very trusty.
It is a trusty net. It's a trusty shovel, is what I'm. Even though it should be the clumsy shovel and the trusty net, is what I should say.
Really? No, because clumsy net you keep netting yourself. Which,
by
the way,
but it's 100%. You always net yourself. Whereas the shovel, sometimes you dig out some crap.
Yeah, that's true, right? It's not very clumsy if you are so efficient at netting yourself as well. I guess you have a point there. Yeah, you have a very good point. Especially because I want this magical net. Like you have like what? It's clearly one net, but you net 2 people. What is this? The fishing industry wants wants your number. Dude.
Go whenever.
No, just go.
Yeah.
The go when ready is the SCA.
Yep. So we do G with GWR, and then
Yes.
here in NA, it's go whenever. I don't care. Whatever, dude. I'm trying to farm.
Meanwhile, in my pubs, it's just unpause. There's no go when ready ever.
Nope.
Mingate is okay. He's already bought the BKB recipe, I see. Yeah, so he's committed to the BKB for sure, and then gonna go for the Basher. I like the build. I think the Yasha is actually kind of decent to give you extra movement speed and a bit more attack speed. The Yasha in general is a very useful item, so you don't even need to turn it into anything until later, of course. But the choice for Mingate to go for the Yasha to amplify his farming and then straight into the BKB so he can fight. Of course, finishing off with the Basher. Basher is gonna be the crucial item this game.
Yeah, it is. Basher and then Abyssal on top, right? Because that's actually going to be something to stop Quinn from rolling around. Of course, you do end up stunning yourself after that at least once, but who knows? That can always be crucial to the rest of your team, right? Even on a hero like Ursa, sometimes it's so important to stop that Pangolier Rolling Thunder that it might be worth just getting yourself stunned even once. And, with an Rage on, you're going to basically be ignoring it anyway. SVG, just hold him down. You hold, and Mingate punches, as he will punch the crap out of that deer. It's like being in a Bambi there, just literally nothing she could do.
Yeah, landing a Bambi had a gun in it, right? It wasn't an angry bear.
Yeah, well, I've never seen it, so... what can I
Really?
say? Yeah.
Oh, with a hunter. It's a hunter, dude. It's not a bear. Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Seems kind
Because
of...
the hope thing is supposed to be a symbol of how hunting is bad, right? Imagine if it was a bear. It's like, oh, my symbolism is mute.
Well, it
The
seems...
point is mute. Animal kills animals. Go hunt whatever you want.
It seems apt that, Ursa is... Ursa's kind of a hunter, isn't he? Oh, mid
I
lane?
guess so.
Dark Mago.
No, Kunka.
A hard kill. 10-second BKB
Very
up on
difficult
Quinn.
kill. Oh, Quinn might die, actually. They have Clumsy Net on the Scarlet Mage. Just set
Okay,
up.
they forced
Quinn is forced to use
BKB.
the BKB.
That's a big
Wow.
win.
That's a big win. 10-second BKB for that. He couldn't Rolling Thunder because he was rooted and silenced, of
And he
course.
still gets Tidebringer to boot. Yeah, he's not having fun in that little
And the
engagement.
concussive shot will hit now, and he's like, oh my goodness, I can't escape this damage. They didn't find SVG. Killing SVG is important because that way they can't dispel your overpower, sorry.
Yeah.
Very important there.
Heal us, and then immediately dies to a ghost ship. It was just, SVG again. It's a real tough game. That kind of happens when you pick a support with this sort of passive in the game. As Quinn now gonna be rolling on in from behind, just rolling. Sure. Dark Mago will get hit, but up to the high ground he goes. Good positioning. I think that's what Omega are mostly doing there with the flag spots. It does get him down to the low ground, and Quinn, he's then gonna have to commit either the swashbuckle or the shield crash to continue, which could be a one-way trip for him,
Well, I'll take this tower in the middle lane.
Okay, so by the way, MSS, he is X-marking himself, and then just baiting out the X-mark torrent combo from Dark Mago. Dark Mago is wised up to it now, but he's at least forcing Rubik to use that spell steal defensively. So that's something else that he is doing there.
Yeah, nice. Okay. The X marks the spot, as you mentioned, using it defensively to make sure. I mean, it's still a good play though, because you make sure that Mao cannot get against
It is.
initiation.
It is,
but
right,
You,
'cause
you
Dark
are taking
Mago
away Quincy Crew's ability to.
Exactly. It's you're nullifying basically the X mark the spot potentially, right? As MSS is going to have it defensively for one of his teammates or for himself as well. What's your war got though? Anything new? Still going for the BKB. Needs a bit more gold. Needs another 800. So he's going to be looking to farm that ASAP, as they actually have found the courier of INS. Aether Lens recipe destroyed on it as well, which is going to be mostly okay. I don't think the Skywrath would have had it in time anyway. It needs still the full Void Stone for it. So who knows? But it's going to be a little annoying for sure.
Yeah, that's it in the tower in the top lane, and they're going to start to increase now their farming speed. Usually with the mid towers and the bottom towers you have enough, but this completely allows you to choke the triangle. And since you don't have the best push, it's not really wise to go into the high ground just yet, even if you have Aegis. This first Aegis is much more useful to just take out completely all the outer towers and start to choke the enemy team.
Yuar has not gone for the BKB. Instead, he's decided it's going to be a Maelstrom.
Oh, okay. I guess he needs to increase. No, he has gone for the BKB. He's coming on the courier right now. What are you talking about?
Huh, that's weird. I saw Maelstrom get purchased by someone. Who would have bought a Maelstrom in this game then, besides him? I swear I saw it in the side pop up. Huh, that was weird.
Are you? I mean,
Maybe hey, I could be losing it. Maybe I am. Either way, let's move on. BKB delivered.
oh, okay. Yeah, BKB delivered on Yuar. I was very confused.
That's
by
good. That's better. That's a better
that.
purchase.
Yeah, of course it was. Like, he never considered the Maelstrom. Anyway, well, Skada is going to try to chase after MSS here. Not finding him. The Aegis expires, though, I'm pretty sure. Yep. So now you took the outer towers. The H is very good use of the first H's, honestly.
Lelis.
You're going to wait for the next Roshan to go high ground. Lelis in trouble, though. Oh, nice.
Yeah, good job.
No, wait. That Yos was supposed to evade the X, but instead he got put in the bad position. What? He's going to end up baiting for INS? No, he's going to die there. INS falling at the same time, though. And what did he steal?
Mystic Flare. Level 2 as well with level 2, rather, Arcane Supremacy. And Rubik does have
use
the
Torrent to get vision now. And that's going to cancel SVG. Do they have the damage, though, to bring it down? Pit of Malice. They have Rod of Atos. He's like, I'll take long to hit you, but I have all the time in the world.
Yeah, he wasn't in the Firestorm, but they still got him. Pit of Malice now stolen, which is going to be a beautiful steal here for Rubik. As long as the thing is, MSS does have the Arcana. I love the Arcana. It's a great Arcana, but sometimes it's pay to lose as well, especially for some of the more better zoning abilities in the game that you would like to steal, right? For example, if his Pit of Malice is a completely different color, then they are going to obviously know which one is which, where a lot of the strength from Rubik does come from, oh, what? Whose is this? It's theirs? Oh, I'm stunned and I'm dead.
Yeah. That was not a good initiation there by Quincy Crew, honestly. That Yoster was not ideal for Lilith, and they're starting to falter a bit. I mean, they just need space here, and they have a couple good heroes to actually start to push out the lanes and try to cut lanes as well. I question how good their late game is going to be, though, because Mingate is still going to be much more farmed than you are. And the Kunkka itemized well to prevent the Void from dealing damage to the Chrono. Yeah. Heaven's Halberd. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an E-Blade, honestly, later, especially with the Scarlet Mage. It'd be kind of good.
Lelis does, however, now have the full Lotus Orb, so now he can hopefully... Nice. Oh, wow, he actually didn't even disassemble the boots for him. I thought he was going to do that, maybe try and save for buyback, but nope.
He might go Greaves, right?
Yep, that's what I'm thinking now. It's actually a really strong game for Greaves. Oh, no. Yowar doesn't even bother to kill the illusion. Oof, that one hurts. Yep, I agree. That's just that's the best response you could really make. But Omega now really are going to put their foot on the gas. You can see they're already, Quincy, they know they need to get this bottom tower or bot lane pushed immediately. They actually have no outer towers remaining. Lane's pushing in through mid. And now with no Chronosphere, nothing's going to be really stopping Omega from just wanting to push onto your high ground here.
Let's see, they're going to take the tower here in the bottom lane with Mingate and Mago. A swashbuckle by Quinn, stopping them a bit. They're not too afraid. Now the Rolling Thunder, they should be. Enrage immediately, okay, to avoid this. Tarkmago, though, comes back in, kills the courier.
No.
It's BKB, he just doesn't care, but Quinn also has his own, by the way. This is his first bout of magical immunity. Tarkmago's tired of this, he's going to go for the Rubik instead, silencing up the Pango, but he still has the BKB like I mentioned, activates it immediately. Ursa's still trying to find him, has the bash, the little jump by the Pango. Ursa doesn't want to match it, instead bashes Lelis, and with a double overpower, gets the kill. As Oscar says, let's go back home, guys. We've done enough.
That's enough fun for today. Let's go ahead and get out. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they back off there, but sure, why not, I guess. They're just going to delay the game a little bit more. The Uber driver showed up and aggressively put them into the Uber and then drove them home. You know, it's like when your mom shows up and she's like, no, we're going home now. Okay. But yeah, good fight there from Omega. Obviously, they get the kill into Lelis. They force another BKB charge. They use 2 of their own BKBs, however, for that. And don't actually get any towers on the high ground to show for it. So who knows? Maybe that'll end up making a difference. But for now, you know, again, a kill onto Lelis. Sure, you'll take those. And now the push is going to become a little bit stronger, as we do have the full Solar Crest completed on our Underlord, Rod of Atos, Mechanism, and next going into the Vlad. So he's just going to become an aura carrying champion here for his team. Panda with the Glimmer actually can live a little bit longer in these fights, ideally, as we have now finished INS's Aether Lens. Basher and the Abyssal, not quite completed, but still some decent progress being made, having bought the recipe already here. And Omega, like we're saying, are pretty darn strong here. Full AC on our Kunkka. Yawar going next for the MKB here after his own BKB. And it's going to be Pango now with a Basher doubling back for the MKB. So lots of bars in this game. Roche will be up in 30, likely to be the next point of contention. As really, that's all the new items here that we've had since we last checked them.
You're really only checking for the Roche right now as Omega Gaming. They played this game pretty cleanly. They know that, like I mentioned earlier, the high ground push is not the best, so the Roshan will guarantee this. And currently, they're just making sure that they choke Quincy Crew. Quincy Crew still fighting farm. It's not like they're completely under farm, but we're seeing the difference between Omega and Quincy Crew slowly growing larger as time goes by. Mingate is trying to jump over to SVG. SVG's like, nope, hippity hop, back into the trays. Can he get the first hit bash?
Nah, he's not going to guess the right direction, unfortunately. Know your trees, as they always say. But, okay, again, continuing to farm. Lena's going for a Bloodstone here, interestingly enough. I thought for sure maybe he'd first finish the pipe. but he's going to decide, no, I just want more damage and more mana, please.
Yep. I'm honestly not really sure what to say, because this game has been going exactly as Omega has predicted, right? Like, their plan has been executed perfectly. Now, Quincy Crew might disrupt it.
They need to go fast. I mean, look how fast this Roche is going down.
Yeah, dude, it's an Ursa. You can't, like, wait or bide your time. Ursa's going to take it immediately. Yes, the Honorable will die here with a good chrono. The Rolling Thunder works against them here, though, and the Ghost Ship gives them a lot of coverage. Ins will die here as Panda has to use the Ghost Scepter, tries to get the Frostbite onto the Void, but Void has the BKB, so it's fine. Now, though, Quinn dealing the damage, getting the bash onto Mingate. Mingate doesn't want to lose the Aegis here. The Vivox come immediately. They reposition to the high ground, and now they find the Timber Saw. Immediately destroy him. SVG realizing his mistake as he gets caught by the Mystic Flare. Mingate wants to go for more. SVG, run away, for the bear is coming for you. Maybe the damage actually from the Arcane Bolts might just be enough. Yeah. SVG has no way to prevent this. They stop for Panda, but Quinn is forced to use a BKB as Panda freezing fields and saves himself. Quinn has a TP, needs to get away in time, tries to do so, Torrent to get vision, actually does guess it! Oh my goodness, that Mago!
Very good fight there for Omega.
Very
My
good
goodness.
guess. Very good guess.
Good
yeah,
guess.
I think he saw the little shield crash jump and he kind of guessed based on that, but still impressive.
Yeah, he probably knew that he couldn't have run much further, right? Mingate just is too fast. Phase boots as well on Kunkka, so a good educated guess, right? And that's why you got to know your trees, unironically. As Quincy, they have lost 4 there. You are with a pretty decent chrono, but he actually is only able to get 1 kill there, and it's going to be onto the Skywrath Mage. I believe he had caught maybe the Maiden in there as well, but she was much better positioned with some teammates around, so he couldn't really go for her, and then he just has to leave the fight. From there, they continue chasing up high ground, trying to get Ursa. Lelis actually leading the charge up there, but he just ends up dying as well. We have an MKB now for Yawar, but no Chronosphere here to really try and put that to its full utility. Z will instead continue to ignore the people pushing onto his high ground and just go stopping into the top instead. MSS might be in some trouble here. Yule Scepter on Yule Scepter, good 4-staff. As they will save his life. The Abyssal Blade, though, I think I heard here onto Lelis, but good job here with the Ghost Scepter. SVG getting bashed. There's the Enrage. He will die. That's still 5 heroes continuing to push very, very aggressively in the base of Quincy Crew. And there go the top lane, the Rax.
Okay. Omega Gaming will have to retreat now because, like I said, they don't want to continue to push. They don't push quickly enough that they can afford to like take 3 lanes of Rax in a row. That would be quite dangerous for them. But I like how patient Omega's been this whole game, though.
They really have.
They've not made a single, in my opinion, overextension or like really a mistake. Even that Roche fight was well calculated. They knew that Roche was worth it. They knew that Quincy Crew was going to contest it. And that repositioning to the high ground was an incredibly smart move by Omega. So honestly, well played. Quincy Crew is in a pickle right now. They need to manage to defend the high ground for at least the mid or the bottom to make sure they can get a good team fight there. But with the with the Aegis in possession, it's tough.
It's tough, and in fact, Omega, they're so patient. I'm curious, are we going to wait for maybe another item to come through? Mingate, he's a bit far off from the MKB. Pretty close to the Daedalus, however, is our Kunkka, so maybe they're going to let him finish farming this. I think he needs another about 500, 400 gold or something like that to get that Blink Dagger soon on INS, as they have scouted 1. MSS looking for the TP. Will be able to get out in time. We had a vision for Abyssal.
We had a chatter that actually told us that Void did buy Maelstrom, by the way. He just messed up. He was buying MKB and BKB, and he bought it together, and then he had to disassemble it.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I was like, maybe they disassembled, but
thank you for that.
I was like, I swear, I thought I was going crazy, but
because I was so weird, right? Because I was like, why would you buy the Javelin at all? You don't even have a Javelin in your inventory. But I guess, like he mentions, he had both queued and then just click fast, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for that information. Very useful, actually. We apologize for that mistake by my part.
Good old quick buy. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Either way, it wasn't relevant, but it's good to know that I'm not going crazy. Not yet.
No,
anyway.
yeah, it's good to know. Not yet. That's tomorrow. Mingate starts to take the tower now. He still has Aegis, but I mean, it's not like he's invulnerable, right? You don't want to lose the first life like this. It's 1 more minute till the Aegis. He uses the Enrage. It's relatively low cooldown. Quinn's committing to this. The Glimmer Cape helping out Mingate.
Quinn's gonna have to BKB.
The pinball's so annoying. Oh, X marks the spot though. They try to get him with Torrent. They do, but the 4-step saves Quinn. Well played, actually. That Mago was insane on this Kunkka. How did he guess that Torrent?
Yeah, really, really strong player. Yawar continuing to farm off in the jungle, hoping for the butterfly here. Does have the Chronosphere, and they will recall him as back into the base. Ursa has now lost the Aegis here. good torrent again here onto Quinn. He might try and be forced to pop the BKB here. Yule Scepter is reflected. Yuar landing only one in the chrono, and it's going to be Oscar. Dark Mago still able to actually cleave off him in the meantime, and it's going to be Quinn getting bashed by Mingate, now turning instead onto MSS. They didn't even manage to kill Oscar, unfortunately, there in the Chronosphere as Yuar then forced the time walk back. That's his BKB used. Dark Mago is still continuing to fight as Lilith's looking to die here, and he will. Nice silence there, stopping the Maiden from ulting at the very least.
The
They do
cheese!
get the kill over onto one cheese. Don't believe it actually got to use there.
No, he didn't.
Ooh, now Lilith's
Time
buying,
block
or
bash.
rather, Yuar buying back. Oscar trying to get the boys out of harm's way. They should be able to do so. Panda even getting her up close and personal for that last little frostbite,
Yeah.
making the buyback pointless, or useless, rather, I should say, out from Yuar.
I'm a bit hesitant to call it an overextension because I think Omega still wins that fight. It was a bit unlucky that Void got 3 time lock bashes in a row, like literally off the same time lock bash. That's why he couldn't use the cheese. Like, okay, come on, game, right? Especially because let's not forget time lock is pseudo RNG, right? So every time you get a time block, there's less chance of you getting the second one. So you're getting 3 in a row. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
I guess
Yuar.
Ice Frog wants you to win. Oh, my goodness.
Yuar.
Oh, no!
Yuar. Didn't have BKB.
Not gonna lie though, I think that's not too much of a mistake by Yawar, because the play by Oscar to rush towards the enemy triangle to catch him,
Yeah,
kind of surprising, right?
They were smoked up. They knew he needed to be farming immediately. Once you buy back, it's kind of programmed into cores now, because buying back used to actually reduce your gold gain by like 75% or something crazy. But now that it doesn't, it's so efficient. I bought back, I need to be farming immediately, right?
Yep.
Because
Yep,
I'm
yep,
now
I agree.
far behind my items. So they knew. They knew he was going to be there. Mingate then looking to finish off this game here. Yule Scepter, they're going to try and save SVG as long as they can. As Lilith's throwing out the Chakram. Quinn with the ulti just rolling around here, keeping the enemies out of the base. And again, just constantly using Fuzzy Wuzz. He still has the BKB, forced to now use it as he will be looking to turn, but a little bash out from Quinn might just stop that in its tracks. Reflecting the clumsy net, so rooted twice. That's how trusty this net is, Avo. He got clumsy netted twice.
Mingate is trying to go and take the towers. This is the biggest issue, of course, of the year. So he's like, why can I get Furious Steps on towers? But unfortunately, you don't deal any damage there. And honestly, Omega's struggling to push this.
They really are.
Quincy is defending without their Void is actually really impressive, and they don't manage to take another lane of racks. Despite the Void being dead for 100 seconds, that's a win, a pretty big win for Quincy.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, a big part of that is going to be due to the Stolen Firestorm, the percentage base, and I believe the amped. Actually, I think it's just the wave damage that gets amped, but either way, it's 4% max burn, right? Like, that's ridiculous. Amped up by the Arcane Supremacy, we're looking at 90 damage per wave, which is about 90 DPS plus 4% of their maximum HP as damage. No, thank you.
Let's see. I would love, actually, if he went for the Firestorm talent this game. I think it's actually kind of justified to attack buildings.
Yep.
Mingate is going to clear the way quickly. Nice
Nice
root of
7.
A nice pit of malice, but the ghost ships are here, and look at that Armada destroying SVG. Ursa taking advantage of this. He does get stunned by the Rolling Thunder. Mingate needs to get away, but he did go for the Earthshock talent, making it really difficult for them to chase him. They have a Chrono now ready, going for that Mago. This time, though, he has still the cheese. He's not going to lose it a second time. He uses the Chrono onto Mingate. Mingate activated the BKB in time, but is that going to be enough? He's enraged. He used it, but the last second, he was already too low by the time the enrage came out. Panda starts to dance, freezing field, kills off Yawar. Lely's now rooted. They try to get the pit of mouse off, not successful. And Lens can get away, but Dark Mago gets the crit and finishes off both. Now it's Quinn versus Dark Mago. The battle of the mid lane is what's stronger. Apparently Dark Mago, but the bash helps out Quinn as Dark Mago eats the cheese, goes and stuns Quinn, hoping for the torrent for the Tidebringer, but the enchant saves his teammate. And then Mago's like, fuck it, I'll take buildings instead. All right, I'm done. I'm done with it. Oh, no. Okay, I'm done. In general, this game is over. Mago's so tired. Another fleet. He's actually in trouble because Quinn is full HP. That Mago will sacrifice himself for the racks. And he'll TP in the middle of this. Quinn has Rolling Thunder. We'll just get a Lucky Bash instead. That Mago now in really difficult situation. He goes back in.
He going?
He doesn't know what to do. He's like, I'll hit something. I'll try to make them dizzy. They still have Rolling Thunder for Quinn anytime, so they can definitely catch Dark Mago. He's done for. He did his best, though. He took the melee racks. It's still a success for Dark Mago, but a loss for Omega overall. Very good Chrono there by Yawar.
Yeah, I mean, look how much damage he does in that fight, by the way. Nearly 10k damage. But yeah, Quinn doing just so much work. Yawar as well with a really great Chrono onto 2. It's like basically that fight started, and Dark Mago was like, no! I want barracks, and he kind of just focused on the barracks because they knew that their pushing power was so bad. Like,
it's so bad.
They had a die back onto Yawar. He dies again in that fight, And, I mean, just a strong hold as well from Quincy. They're not out of this one yet. They're down 13K and 14 kills here 40 minutes in. We'll see if they can now farm themselves up some Tier 5 neutrals to hopefully give them that last little power spike here and equalize, at least on that level, with Omega. As into the jungle they will go. But yeah, again, Omega, they just push really, really poorly here. And they are going to begin to start falling off here pretty shortly. Ursa is going to get a little bit stronger. He now has the Satanic and going for a second Dispel here with the Manta style. So he has still got a little bit of room to grow. But Roshan now has been respawned. What's he got here on this third one? Aghanim's Blessing. Thank you, Flapjack, for hanging that one out. I was actually very curious. It's like he's in the channel here with me.
Gracias, Flapjack.
Are going to instead be the ones to try and sneak this Roche. And this could give him actually a nice leg up here in this game.
Yeah, it's a pretty valuable Ags here, upgrade for Yawar, because that means you can man fight the Ursa a bit more reliably, because you get a constant stun always from the time block. Yeah, exactly.
Do you give it to maybe to the Pango, though?
No, I think you give it to the Void, honestly. Yeah,
they will give it to the Void. Okay,
I think the Pango Axe is alright, right? I think people overestimate it, though. It's okay and if you build Pango in a way that takes advantage of it, which Gwyn kind of has.
I would say, yeah, he has, right?
Kind of. I think it's better in the early mid game though. I think Void Axe here is much more valuable.
Okay, he didn't take the 15 talent as well, which is really the decision, should be the decision making thing.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, he means the one that's 2.5 second shield crash.
Yes. Sorry, yeah, the level 15 talent here for 2.5 second. Yes, indeed, because that really adds a lot of its value there. So it's going to be Aegis Cheese and now the Aghanim's Blessing here onto Yawar. It drastically increases in net worth, of course, because this is I think like a 6,000 gold item or something here that does actually get calculated into your net worth. He doesn't have buyback, of course. Actually, he does have buyback here. 4K gold in the bank. But he's going to need to save a lot of it because it does increase your buyback value by a while. Yes, on cooldown for, yes, correct, thank you, for another minute and a half about.
And can Yawar die in this minute and a half? Certainly he can.
Yes,
he's not Axel, but he has proven to be close this game. But Yawar has sacrificed himself very often in these initiations, which I think has actually been okay. And Quinn has been the main source of damage. And honestly, not the bad play, I think, this game. He acknowledges that 1v1 in the Ursa, which is one of Void's strengths, is not possible because Ursa's so strong in that regard. Dark Mago, though, might get surprised by this. Hey, can they kill Dark Mago in time?
No,
BKB immediately to dispel the Whirling Death. And they go for the Void. No, the Abyssal! They stun him. Okay, there was only a silence there, and the BKB won't work to his favor. The Dark Rift works, and but now they leave behind two people. INS the first to die, but a much more important hero, which is Mingate. They force the TP back in. Mingate has to waste his BKB. I guess it's 5 seconds, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's 5 seconds, so yeah. But hey, okay, a good fight there for Quincy. They get a kill here onto INS. They force 2 more BKB charges. I believe the Kunkka's is quite low as well. Yeah, that was maybe even the 6-second BKB, which is still good, but down to 5 seconds now for certain. They kill his courier, which is really annoying when 2 heroes this leveled up. And they're actually going to go again here.
What? You... Okay, very careful. Oh, he actually thinks of going in? That was really dangerous, and that sets up for the Chrono. It's a pretty decent Chrono to Panda, and a kill off the Crystal Maiden first, as Quinn continues to roll in, stopping Oscar. They're controlling the Ursa pretty nicely for now, but the Mystic Flare is destroying Lelis. He has a Flicker, though, which will help him out, but they should still be able to catch him. Thanks to the X mark the spot, Lelis will fall. Okay, so Omega is still strong, right? You can't completely discount them this game.
Oh yeah, and we are probably likely to catch MSS here as well, which is going to be the gem down. MSS at least uses it one last time there to get a nice D ward. So he's got at least now, by the way, wards give so much gold at the end of the game. 274 gold for a ward? Excuse me? This is ridiculous.
That's worth more than the CM this game. Okay.
Honestly, yeah, if you kill the CM, why would I kill CM when I can just D-ward?
No Timbersaw, no Chrono. This is probably the worst case scenario here for Quincy Crew. Huh? They really had to make something work with that Chrono. And they like the damage.
And Ags, so we'll see.
Okay, Quinn already rolling Thunders in. I think Oscar might just die here. Ghost Ship to help him out though. Very well played. Mingate kills him a second time. That's a dieback. And those Ghost Ships still hitting. Remember the Captain Coco's Rum helping out Oscar ridiculously. That Mago barely takes damage thanks to that Kunkka ship. And they're forced to use the Minotaur Horde on the Pango. No Chrono, Yawar still has the Aegis though. So they're going to go for Quinn instead. They're ignoring him as Dark Mago is suffering it. The poor Void hitting him over and over again. Dark Mago cannot heal. He's going to fall and they've only taken the Aegis away from the enemy. Mingate seems a bit lost. Finally finds Quinn with the Abyssal Blade. He destroys him. Mauls him to death there, Mingate. But there's a buyback on Quinn so they can continue to fight this.
We have a Butterfly in Yawar as well. Oh, big
Dark Rift
crash.
immediately. Yeah,
it's going to be fine. They're out of here. Yep. See ya.
They didn't take tower, but they did force a couple buybacks. Honestly, this Underlord has been incredible this game. MVP for me, for Omega. Like, Mingate's played really well, the whole Omega's played really well, but Oscar's Dark Rifts is pretty much what's keeping them in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I mean, they've actually done a good job of cutting the net worth lead. Unfortunately, in that last push where they kind of got repelled by the Tier 2 fight, they now, and the buybacks, of course, being forced out, they have kind of lost this lead here just a little bit, as it's going to now be swinging here back in favor of Omega for just a bit. But really the biggest difference maker is even when Quincy were coming back, they were still forced to turtle for a little bit of time. So they are suffering in terms of experience, right? Which now does actually begin to make a difference. We just still have Quinn, of course, and UR with high levels, but the difference makers are going to be, of course, Lelis and also INS nearly at his 25 talent, right? And these are not inconsequential power peaks as well. Once the supports get really strong, you know, Mystic Flare damage could be great. Arcane Bolt piercing spell immunity is going to be incredibly annoying this game as well. You know, Oscar's level 25 talent, the 0.65 second Pit of Malice route probably allows them to burn the Aegis off of UR much easier, right? Like these are things that actually end up mattering, and unfortunately, you know, Lelis, he's going to be a bit shy of his 25 talent. Usually you see in this game, we're probably going to still see the Timber Chain radius, just because it's so much mobility, but we'll see. Quinn has now picked up his next item, being the MKB, finished that one off. It's going to be the first, actually. He's got a bunch of intermediary items and then finally doubled back for it. Once he gets level 30, we might see him actually go for the Ags. But, again, just a lot of items here. Satanic as well for Yawar.
For whom, sorry?
For Quinn. I was just commenting on his items. Right. Once he gets level 30, he might actually consider going back for the Ags, because then it becomes really strong again. But for now, he might decide to finish up the Abyssal, maybe finish up the Mjolnir. There's a few different options here for him.
I think it's probably the next best axe in this game, right, for him. Like, I don't think Timbersaw axe is that great. Enchantress axe is a joke. It's between him
Yoink.
and Rubik, right? It's Sproink, no?
It's Sproink. It is Sproink.
Yeah, so I think that maybe just give him the axe from Roshan, because it seems like MSS is already building his own. I'm not sure, though. Like, that might be why Quinn is also not building it. Because it's not a bad axe, for sure. It's just not as good as Void's.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, especially because it then kind of allows them to at least consider time walking aggressively without Chronosphere available. Yeah. As they will smoke up now. Let's take a look here just at neutral items real quick. The Flicker is on Panda. Of course, Spell Prism, surprisingly actually, is going to be on Mingate, which is pretty darn good actually, reduces a lot of his cooldowns. Havoc Hammer then for Oscar. The Sliver still out for Dark Mago. And INS still really likes his Clumsy Net. Why not?
Yeah, honestly, it's probably the best item you can have as Sky's Mage. Not gonna lie. Like, out of all the neutrals, maybe if you get, like, if they allowed him to have, like, Spell Prism, for example, or something. No, not Spell Prism. Sorry, the Thomas Relic, maybe? You know? But Clumsy Net is just too good this game. I also like that Oscar went for the Illusion Escape. Very useful, because Underlord, as you mentioned, the Illusions always get the Aura, so you still have the minus Aura.
He changed it up. He just had the Havoc Hammer instead.
Yep, Dark in trouble. BKB. He's like, okay, I can't TP, so I'm just gonna... Yes, Havoc Hammer. He can push Yawar away. The Ghost Ships are giving him, though, the extra buff, so he's not going to die here easily.
There's still Ghost Ship as well.
It's BKB for BKB. Not bad, honestly. I think that actually even benefits Omega a bit, because Kunkka BKB is not as relevant as Void's BKB this game. You know who I really want to see an Ags on, though? The Ursa. I think it's about, like, you need to get it for to deal with the Chrono and variety of stunts.
Yeah. I was going to say for MSS, because he's got a lot of fun things to steal this game.
No, yes, obviously in a fun way, but I think to win the game.
Yes, to win the game, yes, they definitely need that. Yeah. I mean, who knows, right? You steal Torrent Storm on a Rubik, that's incredibly annoying, because then you can steal a different spell and the Torrent Storm still continues.
Can you? No, you don't get it, though, if you buy Axe on Rubik, right? If you steal Torrent,
you do.
Get it.
You get it off of Torrent.
Oh, so you get Torrent and Torrent Storm?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's amazing. I don't know
that's why there's 2 slots on it, yeah.
That's broken.
You will get. That's why there's some spells you can't steal. Like if your Aghanim's upgrades on a passive, you can't steal it, for example, right?
Wouldn't you steal Nimbus, though? Like, because you steal Lightning Bolt, you don't steal Nimbus.
I think you can just steal Nimbus straight up,
Yeah, exactly, but you can't steal the Lightning Bolt and then get Nimbus as well.
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
Why do you steal off the Kunkka? That's so mean.
I don't know, actually. I don't know. That's a good point. You're right, actually. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I thought for sure. I don't know. I play a lot of Rubik Overthrow, so I thought I was on the money on this one. But I
genuinely have no clue.
They almost one-shot SVG. Poor little thing. Has the magic lamp, but you know, you never know. They could definitely kill you from above 400 HP quite easily.
How annoying this Underlord is, by the way, for pushing the lanes. This is another way of choking the enemy team, right? The Underlord constantly pushing the lanes to make sure they can't really get much farm. And despite how long this game has gone, and obviously 6k difference means nothing for Omega right now, it does matter that this 6k is concentrated only on essentially the Void versus Ursa Kunkka, right? The Bengal and the Timbersaw are really far behind in terms of net worth.
Yeah, that's true. I think Quinn has made the best of this, though. You can see this is why I commented on it earlier. He's gone for a lot of the intermediary items, right? He's got the Basher for the Bash utility, but not the full Abyssal. He's got got
or
the
Maelstrom,
Maelstrom
but no
for-
Mjolnir.
Exactly, right? So, but this means it's kind of like the poor man's ideal build, right? But he's making the best of it. Of course, you don't really get anything. I mean, I guess you could just have another Javelin, right, if you really wanted to. But he's going to finish up the entire Ghost Scepter for that one, though. But let's switch back to buyback because that's the most important stat for now.
Okay, the Void. Look at this. They know it's so important to get that Roche.
Yeah, it's going to respawn in 1 second.
Oh, Roche is going to come back in a second, and they have the courier there. Scarlet should be able to see
Omega
it.
knows. Omega knows. Quincy do not yet.
I mean, once they see the Ursa running into the pit, I think they'll know.
I mean, you never know. It could be a bait. You got to be real careful here.
Yeah, that's true. They do have a ward here, by the way. They see the Ursa. Is that a bait when he jumps in?
Is that a bait in the pit? All right, he's gone for how many seconds now? He might be doing Roche. I don't know. He finishes it so quick. Can they risk it? Of course, this is the calculus. They need to make a split-second decision. And, of course, the Pit of Malice now in the way. And the boat being dropped. Quinn decides it's go time, but it's already dropped. Quinn's able to steal. He's not able to steal anything, Alvo. He's got nothing out of that. Everything going into the backpack there of the Ursa Warrior instead, and now Quinn needs to escape. Has the BKB at the very least. Maybe he got the Courier, sure, but nothing else of important.
I mean, the Courier got it. The Courier got the refresher shard. It was Gareth Mitch's Courier that saved it. Yeah, it was a huge steal there.
Fighting. And so there's the Abyssal now onto SVG. The telekinesis slow him down a little bit. Stuns up Dark Mago as well for a little bit, but SVG is still dead. Dark Mago murdering him. He's got the buyback. Yuwar going in, landing the chrono. Oh no, Mingate walks into it here, but no, the disarm ruining Yuwar's day, and they just don't have enough damage. Quinn now jumping back in. There's going to be the stolen ghost ship out from Rubik, stunning all three and giving him the captain's buff as they will still allow the ancient flare. Ooh, okay, they will get the kill onto our Maiden. As Letless trying to do as much damage as he can, but we still have Dark Mago as well as Mingate to contend with. Nice job pushing him down to the low ground. Mingate though with the Satanic Active just life stealing so much. Needs a bit more though as he will be forced back. They're doing a lot of damage to him now. Mingate is dead, as is his Kunkka, but buying back will be both of them as well as the Maiden. Yuwar is going to be forced away by INS after he uses the Ghost Scepter. Good Yules there. They were able to kite out the Ursa for a long time. They do have the cheese, and now the Abyssal onto Yuwar. Good force staff as well. INS will silence him up. Mingate still fighting here versus Quinn. Out of mana, but not out of HP to fight. Mingate going so low. SVG is chunking them in this fight, but the cheese will be consumed. Panda is back, nearly getting one shot, however, by Quinn and Yuwar, as Mingate will now die. Panda has fought back for this engagement. They have vision on him, but they need more important targets. Dark Mago is the better kill, but they will stop to kill the Maiden. All buybacks here from Omega, as Yuwar still trying to fight versus Dark Mago. Another BKB at the ready here this game, and he does not want to fight in the fleet. He will back off if he sees Mingate coming, as he sees Mingate coming, with, of course, the Aghanim's blessing. Whew, my goodness, wow. Quincy, they're not making this easy.
No, they are not. And now with the smoke, Yuwar wants a surprise here. Lelis is the bait here. Yuwar, though, doesn't have any way to initiate. Rolling Thunder, though, is available. Enraged to still kill Yuwar. Lelis annoying with the Ghost Scepter. Then the Yule Scepter as well. Lelis is too hard to kill. They can't go for Queen either. Finally, they finish off Lelis. And they also find the Void. No, Yuwar! His silence! He doesn't have a BKB. He's going to go down. Does a buyback low, as you mentioned. With the Xbox spot, they want to bring back Quinn, but the Minotaur Horn will save him from this. But Omega has one objective and one objective only, and that's your racks. Take the buildings! They do it! Omega finally finishes off the infrastructure for Quincy crew, but they do stop Mingate. They're now fighting against Mega Creeps. Mingate is a bit too strong with that enrage. He does manage to stun off Quinn. He gets the kill on Quinn, but he doesn't have immediate buyback as he now finishes off the Enchanters. SVG will fall. No buyback for him. No buyback for Yuwar either. Quinn, the sole survivor. He has to make this game go, but Dark Mago is so done with this game. He wants to finish it, go straight for the throne, and the throne doesn't seem to be tanking too well. No, it's going to fall, and Omega will do what seemed impossible at the beginning of the series and take a game off the top NA team Quincy crew.
Holy moly. I mean, hey, maybe the Zoomers have something to say about that, right, as they actually were the ones to defeat Quincy crew yesterday in a 2-0 victory here with their new lineup. But what a game. I mean, if Omega can take a game off of him, you know, if it bleeds, we can kill it, boys. And what a game. Nice and patient. I was so scared at the end that they were just wasting or blowing the buybacks there and couldn't get, you know, maybe they were going to lose, maybe they couldn't finish off the game. But they just have the numbers. They have the numbers advantage there. Very well played game for Omega. My goodness, Mingate is just so rich by the end of this game. 40,000 net worth, pretty much. My goodness.
I gotta say that in that whole game, while many people will, of course, jump to quickly criticize Quincy crew, I'm already envisioning that, you gotta give credit to Omega, because they played an incredible game. Like, an incredible game, genuinely. That last fight, though, very well done by Quincy crew, showed how much you can kite the Ursa, but the choice, the quick ags on the Ursa towards the end, the taking the Roche that quickly was a very important one, right? That allowed him to actually win the game thanks to the ags upgrade that I did mention. The Dark Rifts constantly by this annoying Oscar, which was saving them from engaging in bad bad team fights and overextending. The Skywrath Mage was a force to be reckoned with even towards the end of the game, just because of his itemization with the Blink Dagger and the Ghost Scepter. It was just an incredible game by Omega Gaming. They deserve this victory 100%.
I didn't quite see what killed UR at the end. UR bought back, and then we didn't really see him do anything. So I saw he was in Pit of Malice first, and then a Mystic Flare got dropped on his ass. We did go for the Mystic Flare damage, but then there was another route. I wasn't sure if it was Atos or it was the clumsy net, actually, out from the Skywrath Mage. But he literally, UR just went in. He was, I think, clearing creep, maybe trying to scare people off, but then he just gets immediately destroyed. Has no time walk. He's silenced. No BKB. No Manta style this game for him either, and he's just food for the entire, all the magic damage that they have. So Quincy, they do a good job. Both cores getting kited out there quite a bit. I mean, got down the Ursa, you are on the Faceless Void, but in the end, it's going to be Omega Gaming taking the 1-0 lead. You guys are watching the Realms Collide 2 Burning Darkness. We'll hit him with a real tournament name every once in a while to mix it up. That's just game number 1 here. Ava Plus and Seek and Strike on the call with you guys. Do stick around. We'll be back for game number 2 in just a bit. We will see you then.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Voice of the Realm. We're your nightly radio show, or shitty podcast, whichever.
Or shitty podcast, whichever you
It's very
prefer.
important that you preface it with shitty, though.
I mean, it depends, right? Because if
we don't
you're
want to be a good podcast.
because if you're a boomer, no, it depends. Because if you're a boomer, you call it a radio show. If you're a zoomer, you call it a shitty podcast. That's the difference. It really is, right? Isn't
I
it?
guess so.
It's kind of the difference here. But we are your two hosts here, Richie, and by my side, Alvaro. He always forgets to introduce us. That's okay, because I have to press the buttons anyway to queue up the slides, so it doesn't matter. But we just saw one heck of a reversal there. I'm forgetting the real word. That's a wrestling term of an upset, I would say.
Upset.
I think this was an upset. I think
to some
both
degree.
going into it, even at the draft, I think, to quote myself, had said, yeah, I think Quincy, they're the better team here today, and I think they're going to be able to outperform. And I was wrong.
We did mention it as well. Like, I think what we said at the end of the draft was quite accurate as to what happened in the game. Is Quincy had an easier to execute draft, but there was a lot of options for Omega to upset it because their draft, if they played it really well, it could work, right? It wasn't like a wrong draft. And we didn't say it was an out draft or anything like that. And it turned out to be exactly that. Like, Omega, kudos to them, dude. I'm so happy to see them working out like right now. I'm really satisfied with their improvement.
I agree. I think a lot of that came down to we saw very similar things. You can hear the draft going on in the background. We're about to switch it over, we promise. But I think something that was really crucial in that game was we saw a lot of really good control onto the carries for both sides. A lot of the times it wasn't about Yawar. It wasn't about Mingate. No. And that's a sign of you have two good teams playing, right? They recognize who they need to lock down. They're constantly kiting them out, and they're doing the right thing. And in the end, it's going to be Omega taking game one.
You know, one thing I'd like to mention about Omega that I was very, very happy to see that game is that I've been casting these guys for a while, both in Spanish and English, through open qualifiers to close, because they've been together for like a fair amount of time now. Obviously, some changes, particularly their supports, but in general, it's been the same team, right? And one of the issues I've always seen with this team is like, oh, this team is so good mechanically. They play the lanes really well. Oscar is a god. Honestly, I think that guy is incredible. But they had one issue, which is they constantly overextended. And when I first saw them, I just chalked it up to a lack of experience. But then over time, it's like, okay, they're not really fixing this. They're playing a bit too haphazardly. They lack a plan. And then we see this last game, and it's the opposite.
Yeah,
the patience they demonstrated.
If I can even epitomize that in one moment there, I think even I was questioning it, and I think you were even surprised, probably for different reasons than I was surprised by. But when they got a dieback onto Yawar, and then they pushed bottom, didn't even get the tier 3, and then the Oscar immediately just TPs them out. Like that. Maybe even a little bit too cautious there, but that's okay because it's better not to cross the line and lose than to maybe stand a little further away from the line and then come back later and win. Yes, that gives Quincy Crew some chances to get back into the game, and obviously I think we saw that, right? Because that game still went a lot longer after that.
Quincy also played well there.
Of course, if Quincy played well, both teams played really well. But a team like Quincy, you give them a little bit of space though. Like this is the difference between I think some of the higher echelons, really basically Dota and any skill-based game, right? You give your enemy in any sort of PvP, any sort of even chess, right? You give your enemy a little bit more space, and they're gonna absolutely abuse the heck out of that space that you give them.
Particularly, that was actually what TI5 EG was known for. That was the meme was lose the lane, win the game, right? Because they used to always lose the lanes, and then they would take advantage of even the smallest things to just get back into the game, which is very impressive.
All right, Sumail has a bloodstone, and now he's got 23 charges.
Okay, it's been 15.
No, how did you guys lost your safe and you're off? Like, what the? Fear's dead. Oh, that's okay. And then
because Sumail has 15 more kills.
Because 15 years, Sumail's got all the kills.
Yeah, it was very impressive. But like, obviously, we're not saying Omega's at that level, of course, not yet. But they played really patiently. They're fixing some of their more glaring mistakes, and they're growing as a team. And that's more important to me, right? When I watch a game, I think a lot of people concentrate on results, and I don't care they beat Quincy. Okay, they beat Quincy. Quincy's a good team, yes. But it matters of how they played. And they beat them not because Quincy played badly, because they did a good performance.
Is Panda not La Mirana Boliviana?
No, you're confusing it. Michel is the Mirana Boliviana. Yes.
Thank you.
INS is the 4 for this team, and he does play the Mirana, but since they're lesser known, right? Because what was very special on Michel is that he was the first Bolivian player to kind of make it into a most well-known team.
I remember that from the last NA tournament we cast, and I was like, is it? I remember it was a Bolivian squad. I don't remember exactly.
Well, it's one Bolivian player.
You'll have to forgive me, Michel, if you're watching the stream, as well as INS. But
INS is a really good Mirana too. I think it's Wind Rangers. Mirana is probably his best heroes, but like, don't get me wrong. Like they ban it all the time because INS is a master on Mirana. I think it's the same level as Michel. They're going to take the Lina now for Quincy Crew. Okay, so Ayo, Slaughter, Lina. I like this opening a bit more. I was actually criticizing them yesterday, or not criticizing them in a stream, but I did a little bit of a replay analysis. And one of the mistakes I saw, one of the things I didn't love about their draft was opening with Earth Spirit Ayo, which allowed for Zoomers to really, really burst them through, right? That was a very weak opener. Whereas Ayo Slaughter is a much stronger opener. I like this much more as an opener. Together with the Lina now, you already have strong lanes. Obviously, Io can go with Slaughter if you want sustain, or Lina can go with Slaughter if you want kill potential. Either is viable, honestly, in this lane. And you already set up for a perfect Io plus carry, right? So it's a good lane. Omega does annoy them a bit. This is actually very similar to how Zoomers responded with the Timbersaw pick. They actually used, because it was actually very similar to this draft, they go Io, right? You respond with Mirana, whatever, and then Io +1, and then you immediately go Timbersaw as the fourth pick, right? And with the Timbersaw there, you can actually get a bunch of bans to protect them, which is really effective.
That's the benefit of last pick, of course. You get the 3 bans. The draft stage has changed very significantly. Even if you're just a casual Dota 2 fan, it's important that you understand how important that change is. Because before, there used to be 4 bans apiece before you even got your first pick out. And I think that was
harder to protect.
Yeah, so now actually when this change first happened, I remember casting one of the ESLs, and I was like, all right, what carries are left in the pool? And now it's even still getting there to that stage. So a lot of the teams will pick some of the more vulnerable carries earlier on. Speaking of vulnerable, there's the AA, so that's to cancel out the Wisp. I think we saw it yesterday. I think the Zoomers did this against Quincy.
No, I don't think it was Zoomers, but I think it was someone. It was
Well,
someone else.
we've seen AA against Wisp for sure.
Yeah, we have. I don't think it was. I might have been Infinity that tried doing this and they failed to beat Quincy with that. I'm not sure, but we definitely have seen this before in the tournament. Sorry, guys, we cast a lot in the day, so they kind of mesh together sometimes. But
It's true.
The AA against Wisp is fine. This takes away more of the tankier heroes that can go with a Wisp. You can still play him offensively, but for example, they don't actually have the troll as an option, so. Yeah, I'm interested. AA is fine against Wisp. I think AA also brings you a lot in the lane, and I like the combo of AA with Mirana and AA with Ember. In general, there's a lot of synergy in Omega's lineup.
I'm curious if you want to switch this up now and maybe run the Slaughter as a support. Okay, not anymore, though. It's going to have to be a Slaughter 3.
Good pick, Storm.
But just because the Slaughter Ags, even though that's not like the go-to item anymore like it used to be when it got released, is completely, not completely, because you still get the bonus armor and the move speed in the river, which has a lot of benefits, but you're no longer going to get the healing, which is a big part.
But you get status resist, though, which is a big deal against
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You're right about the healing, though. But you do still get really tanky with the magic resist, status resist. So it's still useful against the AA blast. But I like the Storm pick very much. So talk about the draft a bit more, right? When you have first pick, the importance here between the last 2 picks is that you pick two heroes in a row, right? So the only difference is really one hero is going to get maybe banned and the other one is not. So when you pick the hero, whatever hero you pick first is the hero that has no replacement per se.
Yeah.
So here Quincy's saying there's nothing better than the Storm for the mid lane, or if there is, there's many more options for the carry position or something like that.
Yeah.
And Storm is particularly really good here. Fantastic against Timbersaw, solid against Mirana, great against the Ember Spirit, and they do lack catch, at least reliable catch.
Yep.
So Storm takes advantage of that too.
And I like this better than the Lesh as well, who you frequently see against the Timbersaw too, in the same position as sort of the same role. Yeah. Yes, he gives you more push, but you're very, very likely to die here versus the AA, I would say, because he can reduce your movement speed a lot. He's going to build a Yule Scepter against you. The Storm, in the meantime, not quite as susceptible. Early on he is, because he doesn't have the same movement speed, and he doesn't have the mana pool for level 1 Ball Lightning to really be too useful, but I think it scales nicer later. And we still have some nice push out from the Lina, even though it's a support and the Slardar.
Yeah, we'll see now what Quincy has to pick as their carry, because right now Quincy is a bit more threatened in that carry position than Omega. Actually, no, they're actually both threatened because they both have really strong offlaners, I would say.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Quincy has a couple options that still beat the Timbersaw. I will suggest the Slark again because it's kind of useful, though the Slark is trash in general. The Ursa is another option. We saw that from Omega, and actually Ursa's not bad here because, again, lack of reliable stuns means Enrage is fantastic this game. You could run it.
Yeah, that's always the problem with leaving your safe laner last. But
I like the PA.
Really, I think the calculus when you think about your 4th pick and then your 2 bans are how likely is this hero going to get banned at this stage, right? Exactly. So obviously Quincy prioritizing the mid lane Storm Spirit there rather than a safe laner.
Yeah, because they have a lot of options, I think, for the safe. I mean, a lot of okay options for the safe lane. I think the PA is actually kind of decent here. The only issue I see with the PA is, of course, in the mid game, a lot of magic burst damage.
Yeah. It's not a fun time as well in the lane. You got to play a little bit on the back foot, I would say, versus the Timber.
Right.
You know, especially because then Timber not only gets the reactive arm but a magic stick, so they're going to go with the Ursa. I like that a lot better because then you at least are able to kind of stand your ground.
It's a free game for Ursa, honestly.
Yeah, I'm curious though. Maybe you want to throw the Lina up there with Ursa against the Timber. I think otherwise the Mirana
will destroy him though. Just overcharge the Ursa, and he's just gonna beat you with Fury Swipes, right?
It's just that Mirana is just gonna be able to freely harass. Mirana outranges the Wisp. Wisps on supports that we've seen on Quincy do not go for levels in the spirits at all. Usually it's leveled actually last, right? So that's why I kind of like the Lina up there. Plus another stun to set up that's easy set up after you get the Earth Shock kind of move slow. Because then that gives you some kill potential. With the Wisp, you're farming. I agree. So it depends really with the tempo. Let's wait and see. Put a pin in that and see Omega's last pick here.
I like the bans like Quincy a lot because they ban 2 illusion heroes, which Ursa tends to suck against, which is PL and CK. Even with the Battle Fury build, you don't have enough damage against them. Naga's still in the pool, which is an option. Terrorblade's too bad against Storm and Lina, but
Yeah,
Naga you can
I was
still
gonna
pick
say.
up here. I know that's only Sandboy I've seen pick up the hero. I don't know how strong that is.
Yeah, Samurai Boy loves the hero.
But you could go something really, really off charts and go for like a Weaver, for example.
A Weaver? We'll see. It will be the PA. Okay, right, of course. The strongest hero in the fucking game right now.
Like,
Well,
yeah.
how could we not see it
The
coming?
thing is, I don't love the PA here because Ursa's not a bad MKB carrier, right? So Ursa's actually kind
True.
of decent against the PA. You can surprise the It sucks because PA can just get a crit and then, oh, I didn't use my Enrage. It feels really
Yeah.
dumb, right? But Ursa's a good BKB carrier. You don't really have any stuns to enable the PA, so Lina and Storm Spirit will have a free time just being able to hit her, essentially, right? The overcharge does reduce damage, which means the crits are not as powerful, and Io is a perfect Ghost Scepter carrier. I actually like Quincy Crew's draft this time a bit more overall, though. Like, I don't know. I'm not the big. I don't love the Omega Gaming's lanes here for Ember or for PA too much. I think they're just okay. I think Slaughter Lina is good enough to deal with the PA, and I think they dealt well with the Timber Saw.
I think it's going to depend a lot here on INS. That's the only stun they actually have besides Cold Feet, right? And even I guess if I'm counting Cold Feet as a stun, I should also count Arrow as a stun. I think they're about the same in terms of difficulty to set up, right? You still need some sort of setup for it, or
Yeah,
just.
but Arrow, if you're really good at it, you can hit it. Whereas Cold Feet is depending on the enemy hero.
And that's why I mean that I think it's going to depend a lot on INS here in this game, right?
Yeah, I
Because that's the difference maker, right? You can go for setup. You have the Searing Chains. You have
Searing Chains.
A dagger
That's
for
it,
the
Searing-
slow. Basically just Searing Chains, though. You're right, to hopefully try and lock them down, and that's really going to be the big difference maker in my opinion here, because the game is hard. Same thing here for Mingate. Mingate. I mean, Lelis and him are just going to farm, right? There is kill potential if Mingate oversteps his boundaries, though, right? Because he can farm with dagger, but if he gets within melee range, Lelis is going to lay into him. And it looks, I mean, again, I might prefer to see them throw the Lina top, just because I think PA, if you throw the Lina bottom, she's just going to, Mingate's still going to farm with dagger. Whereas if with top lane, maybe then you can get some kills there with the Ursa.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see how this works out. I'm excited for this game. It's going to be exciting. I think that Quincy Crew has drafted really well. I think they learned a lot from the 4 Zoomers draft yesterday because I find out that Timbersaw was a big thorn in their side in that draft, and the Ursa was a good response. Maybe they learned it from Alea. Who knows?
Yep.
But we're going to see this game number 2 underway. It'll be the last game of the day, so make sure to enjoy it. Make sure to bring everyone you know to enjoy this game with you as we're going to watch some nice NA versus SA Dota. Before we go, though, we have a message from our sponsors. Please, I beg you, don't leave us in a ditch. Give us some love and follow us on Twitch.
There you go. There it is. Hello everyone, welcome back. About to get underway here with our final game of the day. Assuming Omega can get reconnected. PA versus the Ursa, Ember versus the Storm. And what a storm this will bring. It's also been storming for the last 3 days here in KL Straits, as if to, like a build-up here for this game. But thanks for joining us, guys. Level Plus and Seek and Strike here on the call for you for our final game. Omega currently upsetting perhaps one of the group stage favorites, I would say.
Yeah, actually what Richie told me, or Seek and Strike told me today. Sorry, using your real name. Oh,
Yeah, it's whatever.
I woke up, from the storm, like, hey, Richie, are you seeing the storm outside? And Richie's like, yeah, he wants all the blue tangos.
He wants the blue tangos in his dressing room, of course.
But
But yeah, just still waiting to get reconnected here. And then we'll be good to go. Good old Robistar, as we are going to still just be waiting on Dark Mago, and we should be good to go. Storm versus Ember is always really fun to watch. I will say, generally speaking, although you do have that Envy story, right? Generally speaking...
That's my favorite story in all Dota, dude. That clip is... have you ever actually watched the clip, though?
No.
I need to put it... I need to show you, and you guys should watch it, too, honestly. The Ember versus Wii, when they tested the Storm versus Ember matchup, is one of the funniest clips. The immediate disconnect by Envy as he realizes he's wrong. He's like, no, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right.
You just sleight of fist everything, right?
Oh, because that's what he was saying. He was claiming that you just light a fist and you avoid the static remnant. And Wii's like, no, that's impossible. I'm telling you, that static remnant is super annoying.
Yeah.
And he was right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I will say generally it's pretty skill based, I will say, but I think the
Oh,
Storm
100%.
has the edge still in maybe like 52-48. You know, it's not that crazy, but I think generally speaking he does have the edge here, especially because he can force if the Ember wants to stay in lane and contest last hits, he's gotta go for more levels in the Flame Guard. There's just no conversation about it, you know. And still with level 3 and then again at level 4, you get a really big power spike here on the Storm, where you got that nice little 3-hit combo that almost every Storm can pull off flawlessly. And of course, Ember being a melee hero is going to have to put himself within a range to be susceptible to that. So it's a really fun matchup to watch. It's among one of my favorites here. Basically any of the spirits against each other, including Earth Spirit mid. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's true. It's a very fun match, very skill-based. Also, we get to watch one of the best Storm spirits in NA, which is Storm. Sorry, which is Quinn.
Which is Storm.
Yeah,
Storm is the best Storm in NA.
Quinn is absolutely fantastic on this hero. It's really a pleasure to watch. Though Dark Mago, he's also really well known for Ember Spirit. Little fun fact: Dark Mago actually means in Spanish. Well, obviously Dark is an English word, right, which just means dark. But Mago is mage in Spanish, right? So you actually got known for playing. The reason this name comes out is because Invoker, when he got the little cosmetics for Quasflex, remember? That made him look like an evil mage, right? That's what he actually started playing, and he became a really well-known Invoker play. But they're like, okay, Dark Mago, you need to play more things than Invoker. And so he learned Ember Spirit particularly. So it's one of his really top heroes.
Yeah, Ember used to be like, if you play mid, you have to play Ember.
Exactly.
He was like, remember the Blade Mail Earn days. So here we go already. Remnants dodged out first here by Dark Mago. But yeah, that's a good story to tell. But yeah, this is a fun matchup to watch, so it should be pretty fun indeed. Down bottom, of course, it will be Lelis. So they've gone for some lane swapsies here. I got a little dizzy at first, but they will instead be throwing MSS here with Lelis. For now, they're going to be tri-laning here. We'll see how long that lasts. Tri-laning, that is for Omega, with Panda as well as INS here, both supporting Mingate.
Oh, well. In the top lane, that's what I was telling you, right? The Ursa versus Timbersaw, you know, with the IO as well, it's so difficult for Oscar to deal with this. I think it might be an interesting proposition from Omega to run the Timbersaw completely alone, right? And then try to put more pressure, therefore, on the Slardar so he can have a good lane. And on top of that, make sure the Phantom Assassin always gets farmed. Not a bad idea, because this also allows Mirana to go and rotate into the mid lane and help out the Ember matchup a bit more, which can be a lost matchup.
What I would love to see Quincy do, it's going to have to be Yawar, but right now, Oscar's only able to actually stay in this lane and contest CS only because of Timber Chain. Obviously, every single time he does that, he cuts down a tree. So what should Yawar and SVG do? Cut down his trees, dude, because then he can't be here. He has got no points in the reactive armor. Neither of you particularly give a darn about Whirling Death, and he's just dead. I think, honestly, it's a lot like playing against a Techies or Tree Protector. Cut down his trees, because then he cannot escape.
Which is ironic, because Timbersaw wants that to happen, right?
It's
He wants
true.
to cut down all the trees,
It's
but he's
true,
weak without them.
But not in this lane. He's very susceptible to death. So that's a little something I'd recommend. If you're playing against a Timber and you have a good matchup against him, cut down his trees. If you're playing against a Chain Protector, and, well, you cut down his trees as well, basically.
I have played with a Seek and Strike. That's all he does all game. He's like level 1 at minute 15. But I'm cutting down trees,
cutting
bro!
down the trees. You know, if you're playing against a Monkey King and you're defending high ground, cut down his trees.
That's true.
It's these things that are nuanced in Dota that actually make a difference. Like, I'm telling you, if Oscar, you know, he's eating mangoes here. Look how far he has to run now, right? Instead of just Timber Chaining to
level
one of
1.
these trees.
Because level 1 Timber Chin as well, they're taking advantage of that. Very good. And now they actually force rotation by Mirana, which is a loss as far as they're concerned, because Mirana now doesn't have the liberty of neither rotating mid easily, nor going down bottom. And this means the PA is going to have a tougher lane because of this, especially because PA is actually playing in the off lane. And Ursa's fine playing in the off lane. He does not care whatsoever about lane control, because he's such a powerful laner. But PA usually wants that a bit more.
Dark Mago's
especially against a Slardar.
He's kind of losing the mid lane pretty hard, though. He's 6 CS down.
To be expected.
7 CS down. Yes, to be expected, but that makes a difference because Quinn's able to get the bottle first. That suits Dark Mago out of the lane. Here's the 3-hit combo we're talking about at level 4 with a level 2 overload, dramatically increasing the damage. Quinn looking for another auto attack here. Will find it and doesn't miss uphill. But Dark Mago is going to try and deny himself and will be able to do so. And you're dead for a long time, but it's better than feeding first blood to the enemy mid laner for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't first blood though, so actually now I start to question, because they got first blood.
It wasn't first blood. You're right, correct. Thank you.
So
good
I
point.
don't know. That's quite a while that you're going to be gone for. At least yeah, I guess you don't give the gold. It's the most important thing is the experience, right? That Storm gets from that more than the gold itself. So maybe that's the goal. I don't know. Regardless, though, Quinn actually played that so marvelously. Top lane,
Oscar?
wait, they're going for Oscar.
Yeah,
he missed the Timber Chain.
He's dead, I think.
I don't know,
Got
though. He has
another
a Timber Chain in a second. The longest possible Timber Chain, just barely hooked there.
That was almost very deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I love about Quinn is, did you notice that aggression that no matter, even though he was harassing Dark Mago constantly, he still was not missing his last hits. Like he was last hitting with static remnants behind, using the overload to damage Dark Mago, sorry.
Oh, arrow?
Very
It's
well
gonna
thought
miss.
out.
Yeah, I mean, he is a strong Storms player. I wouldn't be surprised if Quinn grew up in Tornado Alley, where I grew up as well, because he is master of the storm here. He knows when to go in and when to not when he hears the sirens of war. Mingate is kind of low here with the Ring of Health here already, though. Is going to be quite tanky. Panda, unfortunately, will take a death, as well as bashes him to death.
This Panda will die. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
The Ancient Apparition is just not... Yeah, it's just not that strong in this lane. He's the easier kill, of course, between the two. PA has a fair amount of escape. But she's not able to get close to the lane, though.
Got the haste. He could try and play this aggressively. It's a bit sketchy now that the Flame Guard's ended, but he did well to dodge actually the Remnant damage, so he still had a few Flame Guard ticks.
Oh, Quinn. Oh, he's walking into a trap.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to set up for the arrow. That's an easy kill on Quinn. He did not expect INS to be there.
No. Good rotation, though.
Yep.
Did they kill him with their only lockdown with Syrian James and
The
arrow?
arrow. Yeah.
Nice. Panda will die again down bot lane. Unfortunately, it's just he's very susceptible to dying. Really bad move speed on AA, generally speaking, just in the game, one of the lower ones. To make up for it, he does have a really high attack range, but Lina also has a really good attack range. And unlike AA, really good base damage, as AA depends on, of course, the chilling touch, the chilly fingers, as he calls them. And overall, it's a really, really good start from Quincy crew, who are currently leading in all 3 lanes. And look pretty set here to continue sort of dominating into the mid game then.
Yep. They proposed a very good idea for the early. They didn't want to lose the early. And this also allows Quincy to... bit difficult Phantom Strike, but Lelis was saving up the sprint. He has a bash ready. Mingate. With a nice trick array. He's dead.
Nice.
Okay, well played. And even give it to Lelis, which is perfect. Because, of course, he wants to have that gold. Like I mentioned, Quincy is a team that likes to snowball from the lane, so they don't actually play as well when they lose the lanes very much. I like that they're securing the lanes this game and try to play their style of Dota. That's when they feel most comfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
What did you see INS? Did he kill a courier? Yeah, he just killed SVG's courier. He's walking around trying to be useful this game and actually did a pretty decent job of killing the courier there and taking away the catapult, so
wow,
Quincy can not push in the top lane.
They swapped the lanes already. I think that's good. I mean, you have to. BS kind of getting bodied down there. Not going to do very better against the Ursa, but at least there's no stun. There is a slow, however, which could be just as deadly, but you also have the Stifling Dagger slow for Yawar, right? Mirana nearby. Lots of heroes here for Omega, actually currently situated around the top tower, and actually make it all 5 heroes now currently in the general vicinity. Yawar might get cold-feeted here. Nope, no latch. Dodges the arrow. Nice job there scouting that one thanks to the ward, and now INS looking to try and bait a little bit here for Dark Mago with the DD rune. LSA will be dodged quite deftly there by the Remnant, and now they're going to be looking for a bit more. Dark Mago full HP, 2 sips of the bottle remaining, but they're just going to go ahead and get the D ward instead and just take the kill onto the Ursa.
Okay. So that's an important kill actually for Omega to stabilize things a bit, right? Because you're stopping the Ursa from farming. Lelis though can still pick. The thing is, in this game, Quincy Crew has set themselves up so they can play around any of the 3 cores. If they want to play around the Storm with his early peak, possible. If they want to play around the Slaughter, perfectly possible, honestly. So it's not easy to completely destabilize their early game, but you can slow them down.
And now Yawar is back into the safe lane.
Did you miss me, Oscar?
What's up, Oscar? How you doing? I'm going to kill you, by the way. Nice crush. No points in power, however, for the Ursa, so he's actually going to live. As Oscar there with only still the singular point in Tipper Chain is still giving him the range that he needs. So good for him.
I told you, dude. Oscar is a god. He's a really good player. He's a very good Timber. Considering the lane he was given, he's actually not doing that badly. He has decent experience, which is what Timber cares about the most, and the farm may come later. You might have to play a much more sacrificial Timbersaw here. It's fine, honestly. Considering you're up against an Ursa, you can't really ask for more. The concern for me, though, is much more on Mingate this game, because the PA didn't really have the easiest early. But they're recovering nicely, though. Both Ember and Mingate. Like, look, Ember is actually only 200 gold away from Quinn. Not bad at all.
That is pretty good, considering he had to deny himself to a small camp, right?
Yeah. Lost a lot of gold there, but the kill they got on the Storm Spirit helped a lot to recover.
We'll see what they can get done here. Still hoping for that level 6 on Mingate. Still doesn't have it, unfortunately, so it's not really too efficient to jungle quite yet. Yeah, he needs a little bit more XP. In fact, it's still only 8 minutes in, so shouldn't be too critical here yet. But I always forget. Somehow, the Dota games, they just seem to go slower than I think they go for some reason. I look at it and I go, what the heck? Why doesn't Ursa have Abyssal Blade yet? Oh, we're 8 minutes into the game. Okay. That makes sense. Ursa, by the way, eventually going to be building Abyssal, but for now, you are opting for the Battle Fury here. is going to have a pretty similar timing, I would say, to the PAs, as we both have around just an item and some change left in terms of how much they've completed it. But Yoar is going to be able to farm much easier here. Mingate already into the jungle. Is he level 6? Finally is level 6 go. So at least we'll begin to farm a little bit faster. But Ursa with the Wisp is just always going to have mana. He can just always use his spells whenever he needs to and just get creep. Especially
Yeah,
with
exactly.
power.
That's one of the advantages, of course, of always carrying the Wisp around, right? It's going to also boost your farming potential. And Ursa, when he also gets a Battle Fury, is going to get better, right? One of the main reasons why Battle Fury started being built on the Ursa was actually because of the regen, not just because of the cleave. The regen helps you out a lot in the Ursa to spam that Earth Shock, and IO works as an early Battle Fury, essentially.
You're absolutely right. And to that point, that's why AMs really love going for the Battle Fury. Because Blink, actually, without a Battle Fury, just with Power Treads, good luck trying to blink between camps. As Panda will be caught. They do get the cold feet to apply, so MSS is going to have to take the kill, but they're happy.
That was a nice little ice statue on this line. Had a really cool pose there for Lilith. But yeah, they're starting to take down the top lane as well. I like this. The mid lane, I think, is a bit difficult to take this game. If Timbersaw and Ember want to defend it, they can. But it's very difficult to defend this top lane. So at least you can invade part of the enemy jungle and start choking it that way.
Arrow, but he is better in rage.
Yeah, as you mentioned. He still has the magic stick, or magic wand rather. They cut down all the trees, which surprises because Quinn was actually hiding inside of them, going for Dark Mago. Immediately, SVG proceeds to chase after them. It's like, Ursa, come on! But
it's going to be a disengage here. Ursa doesn't want to fight right now.
No, SVG did though. SVG was like, this ball is looking for
but
blood.
Omega, they want to fight, especially with the 4 heroes they have here. They're going to propose Ice Blast coming in. It's a big one here. It's going to connect onto 2, connecting onto SVG and murdering Yawar. Storm Spirit actually also gets caught. Can you Ice Blast invulnerable units like you can vacuum them?
The debuff hurts, but not the actual
damage. Okay,
yeah, so
makes
you actually can see that Storm Spirit did get the debuff there.
He did.
But he didn't get the hit by the damage, which was a big deal because he might have died if they hit him with the damage there.
Correct.
So well played by Quinn. Nice Ice Blast though. Very good Ice Blast by
Very
Panda.
good Ice Blast.
He likes the ice heroes, dude. He's good at Crystal Maiden, he's good at Winter Wyvern.
Well, you got to give him a level 6 early on here. They might actually have a kill onto Quinn.
Wow. Okay. Odd to choose to farm that, right? When the enemy heroes, you saw them last around this bottom area in the map, and they've clearly moved around the jungle. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And you farm really close to that when you don't even have high ground advantage or any wards.
Yeah, the natural sort of movement, by the way, is clockwise in Dota, in terms of that's what you can kind of think of when there's a gank coming your way, you can almost always, especially early, expect it to be coming clockwise. And that is mostly to do with the fact that you almost always lose your safe lane tier 1 first, and the safest farm is in your triangle. So you always want to go for easy kills in the enemy jungle first, and then kind of transition to a different objective, right? That's always the goal. That should be your goal during any sort of map movement, especially as a team. You'll see a lot of the better teams. Oh my goodness, they killed Quinn again, by the way, while I'm just talking about map movements. Ooh, that is costly.
Did you catch that?
I did.
Okay, it was just an arrow searing chains, right? It's working out for them. I'm surprised though. Quincy crew maybe, like they don't know really where to go now. They finally find the Timbersaw, which is going to be a good kill for them. But they seem to not really have a safe space to farm right now, right? Because they haven't really regained complete map control, even by taking the top tower. And it seems like Omega is much more willing to fight right now, taking good advantage of the Ember Spirit's early tempo and trying to harass the Storm with that. Dark Mago, he does have the Flame Guard, so no point in using Laguna Blade here. But let's surprise, he goes, hey, what about my physical damage? Oh, he avoids the Laguna into the Ice Blast now. It's going to freeze the Slaughter, proceed to cook him afterwards. Lelis is so confused. They're going to kill SVG, Lelis, and MSS all in one fellow swoop.
Omega, what a play. I mean, maybe dodging the Laguna there. Oops, obviously I meant to do that, you know, but still, I mean, the turn immediately after gets a very good 2-man searing chains into the arrow, into the Ice Blast. It's just all coming together, and now they're going to rotate bottom onto Yawar. Yawar reads this perfectly, however, and he's going to TP under the trees. That will be the tier 1 down bottom. They've lost the tier 1 in mid, and this leaves their map a little bit open here for play, as Omega, they're playing very, very nicely as this 4-man squad, despite having a distinct lack of lockdown.
It's true. I mean, they're using the only lockdown they have, which is the arrow, and with searing chains into arrow, or even cold feet, right? Amazingly well, right? They haven't even really fought against the Ursa. Yawar has actually ended up not losing his lane because he won against the Timbersaw, but he's behind the PA in the full farm.
Lelis
Now in
with
the
Blink.
middle lane.
Okay,
Yeah,
there
that's
we
a
go.
good kill on INS. Okay,
Blink
getting
reveal.
rid of the Mirana. She's the main stunner there, and it's a good blink reveal because it gives you some more leeway to farm the Battle Fury and Ursa. And
Indeed.
you also need Orchid of Storm. That's going to be the first time to let Quinn come online.
Yeah, we haven't
He's
seen
not far
Mingate
away.
in a while, and he is not far away either from his own Battle Fury.
Oh,
in fact, if
whoa.
he farms this camp, he's going to have it.
Oh,
He's going to
wow,
go for the
that's a
ancient-
really
Oh,
good
wow. Okay, he's got Iron Talon, so that'll help out for sure. But so does Ursa, to be fair, right? So Iron Talon on Iron Talon, but still Mingate is going to be able to win the duel there in terms of who can farm Battle Fury faster. 13, we'll call it a 14-minute Battle Fury, right? But a very, very good timing, considering we do have still the
Oscar?
full power treads.
Oscar will die in the bottom lane. It seems like this
The team
starter with
smoking to him,
overcharge
though?
is
Revenge!
absurd. Yeah, can they avenge their dead teammate? I mean,
They've got
Mago
really
is
good
looking
vision.
for it. They have Yosef now on Dark Mago, which is a great way to set up for Mirana Arrow on top of course, the Searing Chains. Let's see. They see the couriers. Like, no, we're not looking for couriers. We're looking for the real thing. We're looking for the IO. Die, SVG, die! And they
dead.
proceed to destroy him, but everyone else runs away, like so quickly. They did not even doubt sacking SVG
Oh, great
and
Yules.
MSS as well. Very good Yules.
That's
And
another
that will
setup for Arrow.
guarantee 2 supports die here for Omega.
When they use Laguna, don't net themselves a kill either. That one hurts too.
Yeah,
Panda
it's
stays
level 1
alive.
Laguna.
I mean, that's not the biggest deal. Luckily, Laguna's got a relatively short cooldown for what it is, you know, especially considering Lion Finger, which does less damage, has like a twice as long cooldown, but live Elf, by the way. But the hero's so bad anyway. Anyway, let's not talk about Lion. But yeah, a good gank there. They turn it into a +1 and actually nag both supports, and that's going to be real good for them. And now actually they take a net worth lead as we get 8 to 10 kill score here, just 15 minutes into the game.
Sorry, just banning spoilers in chat. That's the one to say.
So many.
So
Get
many,
outta
guys.
here.
Please stop doing this.
Why ruin it?
Exactly.
Anyway, I'll go ahead and cover for you then while you're banning the plentiful spoilers in the chat. Soul Ring up here for Oscar. He's going to be going for the Mechanism and then the Greaves, which is going to do well for him. But they are hunting Quinn, who can
Orchid.
turn. That's the Orchid. Not quite a reveal because he's been farming already a few waves. Arrow there onto the Siege Catapult. Don't worry, says INS. I got that one for you, Dark Mago. And yeah, so Quinn might be looking to turn. He's going to have Orchid back off cooldown here in just a second as no one TPing on over. Canceling the TP, does not want to use Orchid. Now will, but it's not going to get the soul burn damage. Of course, we have the Yule Scepter, so that's going to be the reason why. And he's going to go ahead and back off.
Okay, good. 2K lead now for Omega, which they're utilizing pretty decently. As we mentioned, the Battle Fury is going to work nicely for Mingate. And the thing is, normally a PA also has a lot more liberty in terms of where she farms than an Ursa, right? Ursa usually has to go for the safer farm.
The
whereas PA
SVG
can go
courier
anywhere.
is gonna out-level,
Oh.
although they're still gonna take the bait. Ice Blast coming in as there's the kill onto the Ember Spirit. Ice Blast completely whips. Oscar as well, speaking of whipping, is not gonna connect the Timber Chain across the river. He's in some trouble. Finally, lands the
nice
second one,
with
but
the
Lelis
crush.
there breaking him with the crush. And MSS with the Laguna Blade and follow-up damage from Yawar is gonna be able to take that kill. And you know what? Ursa, he roaches real nicely, doesn't he?
Yep. Really, really well played there.
They got
for-
to blows up MSS at least.
That's okay, though. It's a good play by Quincy because that allows them to also go for Roshan. Since they're raiding, they have a little bit of an advantage. They do hit the Storm with the arrow, and then it's like, oh, never again. I will protect my mid laner. But they do take the Aegis now for Quinn. Actually, I like it much more than, of course, on the Ursa because Quinn can now go ham and try to just play super aggressively in the Storm Spirit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Even if he's in a really bad spot, he can always has SVG as a lifeline. You know, hey, I'm respawning, start channeling your relocate, right, and then get me out of here. If he's way too far behind enemy lines, because we don't have anything. Again, we're really low on lockdown here for Omega, right? So the relocates are not guaranteed, but almost free, right? Just nothing to cancel that cast point. So we'll see what they can do here. BKB next for Yawar. Blink Dagger into the BKB for Lelis. For Quinn, after the Orchid, we're going to be going straight into the Bloodstone here. No Yules for himself. Doesn't feel like he needs one this game. And the Aether Lens first item then for Lina. So Quincy, they've got some good items here coming their way after they're getting close to equalize on kills. Next step is to equalize on farm. They're less than 1k off with Yawar farming very nicely indeed with SVG currently with him. But they're going to be looking to fight mid lane now.
Okay, the relocate to stop this arrow, actually, but the
no.
Ice Blast will just cancel them. That relocate, I think, was to maybe block the arrow from coming out onto Quinn, but instead they just condemned the two heroes, and Quinn actually had an Aegis, so maybe a bit too hasty on that
He's
relocate.
out of
Quinn
mana, though.
has no mana. They should be able to kill him twice, honestly. They kill him once, I don't see why not.
Yeah, no
Like, they
wisp
set up
here.
the arrow now. Yeah, can insta it perfectly. La Mirana Boliviana!
There he
Takedown
is.
Storm!
Wow. Okay, big loss there for Quincy Crew. I didn't quite see how they were positioned first, but they were farming just comfortably in the enemy jungle. You know, they're still achieving an objective there. Sure, the Ursa continues to farm at the very least. Yuar is completely unbothered by that. His team's going to go die, but you just lost 3 heroes for nothing?
Yeah.
Very questionable. I mean, it seemed like, okay, maybe you go in there if your Spectre has a Haunt, right? But not only does Spectre not have a Haunt, you have an Ursa, right? So I'm just really confused. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Right, what Sika's trying to say that if they don't have a Spectre at all, so that would be a ridiculous play.
Of course, that's kind of what I'm saying. I don't understand what the idea was. They didn't have vision on the high ground, so maybe they did not expect an AA Ice Blast. That's always something you have to be aware about, though. You know, AA can Ice Blast from anywhere on the map. It's a global ability, and you don't have the PA or a Sven on your side, right? You don't really have this burst damage to really nuke through anyone, especially someone as tanky as Oscar. Even Dark Mago, if he has the Flame Guard up, is pretty tanky. With the Yules, can buy himself a lot of time, you know? So you can almost always guarantee an Ice Blast is going to be heading your way immediately after you make that rotation. I mean, it just helps that he's right in front of you anyway, but again, just I'm really confused. I guess just the lack of vision there really affected their decision making is what I would have to assume.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It must have been that they thought that Omega was not going to hard commit to this. Again, this is also knowing South American Dota, right? Like these guys told they don't ever half commit. Like you'll think, oh, why is the PA running at me? She doesn't even have Battle Fury. Oh, no, she's doing it anyway, right?
DD rune. For Dark
That's oh, they catch the Ursa. He has Enrage still though if he has to dispel these. So not that big a deal. Oh, MSS thought about using the Yule Scepter. Sorry, the TP there. Realizes that was the wrong play. Gets killed regardless there.
Yeah.
Oh, he was dead.
That's okay. Lawless is pushing the dead wave, dead lane. Quinn as well pushed mid at least once. Is going to force Dark Mago back.
No, Lawless is pushing. No, dead lane is the bottom lane. I mean, he's pushing the dire lane.
He's pushing the alive lane.
The alive lane, exactly. The opposite of the dead lane.
This lane is alive, and he is pushing it.
Yeah, for those people who don't know what that means, usually BSJ actually coined the term, I believe, dead lane, which is the weakest lane for a team particularly, right? Which tends to be your safe lane once the lane is broken.
Yep.
Yeah,
you can think of it as a reverse Zoro.
What? Oh,
you know,
right.
Z for Zoro.
My goodness, yeah. You are?
Oh, BKB.
Okay.
Oh, get down, Mr. President. The arrow's going to block that creep. Nice shot. That might have just forced at least an enrage, if not a BKB.
Thank God the arrow blocked that creep, right?
Yeah.
If the creep blocked that arrow, it would have been crazy.
It would have been crazy. You know, the creep was just homing onto him. Lawless is going to be annoyed a little bit by Oscar, but not much. As, we're going to continue farming a few items. Yule Scepter now in INS, who can set up his own arrows. He's a strong independent Marana who don't need no stun. Or Searing Chains even now, is that's a really actually consistent setup, to be honest. You can even combo Cold Feet with that one, not to mention. So that is doubly nice. Ember
Smoke
going
down for Quincy.
He's actually got the Medallion, as Quincy will smoke up. They're going to head first into the enemy triangle. This has all been farmed already here, so no one to find, nothing to farm, unfortunately. Will they want to cross? This is a bit difficult when you don't have the tier 1 tower, and this is the point I was going to make when I was talking about making the clockwise rotations, right? Because if you start in the enemy jungle, it's the most area, but if you don't have the enemy mid-tier 1, you kind of have to stop, right? You have to stop halfway, and that's why Quincy cannot continue on through, because smoke is going to break to the towers, you're going to get scouted, you're in a crappy position, and you're going to die. But that last time, when Quinn was farming here, that's why I was so surprised to see him there, because he still had a tier 1. I thought for sure he was going to move to the other side. Oh, wow.
Mago almost destroyed him. Does he have a remnant to get away? He does. Dark Mago for now. Ice Blast resetting it. And Dark Mago will live. The Ice Blast, though, catches SVG, and that's no more Ayo for you. Yawar is forced to use the BKB. They've already killed off Quinn and SVG, and I don't think Yawar is going to last either. They didn't get a bash towards the end to make sure his TP didn't complete. Oh, they're actually running you down. I was going to say this, though. Yes, the game is going slightly in Omega's favor, but it's not until you actually start taking towers and start to choke the enemy team that the game really looks dire for Quincy Crew. But that's exactly what they did just now, right? That play, they thought they could kill the Ember. It's incredible that Mago survived that, honestly.
Yep.
That medallion actually kind of mattered.
He can buy a lot of time for himself, can't he? Yule Scepter on Yule Scepter, a little bit of a remnant, even if he is slowed. It was tough, and then all of a sudden Mingate's coming out of the jungle, and guess what? He's got 3k more net worth than the Ursa, and he did not buy a defensive item. It's an offensive item, 2 offensive items, right? It's a Desolator and the Skull Basher, both very, very offensive indeed. They're always insulting everyone, starting fights at the pubs, you know, whereas the BKB, he's the guy that breaks them up, you know? And that's not what Mingata's about. He's doing damage, and he is killing people. Blew up Quinn, blew up Yawar to follow suit. You lose 2 of your cores and a support, and the game is looking actually really, really difficult. Quincy Crew will smoke up here. go for round 2. 9-second BKB. The arrow, though, is going to catch Quinn. Beautifully placed. My goodness. INS.
Yeah, honestly. We said the arrow is not a reliable stun, but I guess not if INS plays the Mirana, right?
I guess so. And this is,
Yeah.
this is what I mean, you know? It's
Yeah,
going to
you're
rely
right.
a lot on the Mirana.
And that's what I'm mentioning, the difference between Cold Feet and the arrow. If you're just good at arrows and you put them around choke points, and Quincy Crew has to make two choices. Either I walk into the arrow and sack one person, or I retreat, right? And you can't constantly be retreating because you're never going to win this game that way.
No, no, not with your lineup, right? Not with an Ursa, a Storm, you know, and a Slaughter. Those are 3 heroes that do not want to retreat.
They kind of want to snowball a bit, right? And they haven't been able to do it. And now the PA is fully online with Basher and Desolator. In fact, it's going to be the smoke from Omega Gaming. Partially for a bit of extra movement speed. Actually, Oscar reveals the smoke, so there's someone here at the high ground. They guess it correctly. Searing Chains, unless that's a BKB, though, surprising. And INS will be seen and promptly destroyed. Goodbye to INS as the Ursa jumps against the PA. They hit the Ice Blast here, but a bit too late as the PA is already done for. And Quincy Crew are able to turn this team fight around. Omega will lose Dark Mago next this rate. He has double damage and so many debuffs on him. But for now, he's out of remnants. They should just be able to chase him. Yawar, though, is not fast enough, and Oscar is creating a nice little retreat by drawing the aggro. Dark Mago, really good Searing Chains.
Blink, not want to go in for it, though. In the meantime,
Panda?
Gunner, out of mana, hunting down Panda. He might be in
Quinn.
some trouble. Good bash, but he is actually going to get cold feet, I believe. No, just rooted down. Yawar now jumping in.
Oscar,
falling
my God.
so low. But Oscar, with the damage, actually gets the kill onto Quinn. And now Yawar's in trouble. They just can't kill
You're
Dark
a
Mago.
god.
They've been kited.
You're a god, Oscar. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe what I just... Did you see that? He actually used the Ironwood tree to get an extra Timber Chain. He used the Greaves to save the Ember. You cannot clutch it more than Oscar. Like, his butt cheeks have turned into one. That is incredible. Oh my goodness.
Was incredible.
He played... What a team fight in general by Oscar. I thought Quincy was going to win that for sure.
Oh,
I mean, they
NSS?
just...
Dark Mago dead.
Oh, no.
Come on. How are you going to have that amazing team fight and kite them out? And then not only do you scan, but you try and dodge the Lina, sure, with no Yules, with not even your own Yules. You just... I can't believe it. I can't believe it. All for a bounty? Come on. That feels silly. That's okay. Let's not discount that from the amazing fight we just saw Omega take, right? Because it turned out to be a full team wipe. Quinn just walks at Panda, right? At some point, he's out of mana. He's got Ball Lightning level 2, so doesn't do that much damage. He does not have the Bloodstone up yet, so he does not have that amazing of mana regeneration either. There he goes.
At least they're correctly identifying who the biggest headache in the enemy team is, right? Which is the Mirana, and killing her promptly as a result. He even has Essence Ring to try to survive more. Not going to work. So Quincy Crew is improving. These team fights are working a bit better for them, but they have found a way to deal with this Timber Saw, which, by the way, the choice of Greaves for Oscar was a genius one, right? Because he kind of understands that against the Ursa, you're not really going to be able to snowball. Your lane wasn't that easy, but Greaves is always going to be useful in the team fights regardless, right? So it's always a good idea to go for that. I like it, honestly, but Quincy Crew, like I mentioned, still not out completely by any means.
Yeah, I mean, they can always just roast. I mean, especially they have Slaughter, who we talked about is quite the enabler.
Oscar?
And Yawar. Oscar, he's not going to make it in time, unfortunately. Aegis and Cheese, LSA on top just to secure it. As Lelis making space in the river. They're trying to nuke down SVG, but he's quite tanky now. Has still the mechanism to deal with it. Oscar walks into the LSA. Do they have the damage for Oscar? They will. Nukes down now. One dead here, trying to contest this Roche. Dark Mago still nearby against Yawar with a DD rune, as well as a BKB. And this seems a little bit like a sketchy idea. Okay, not if you just blow him up real quick. Wow,
that's ridiculous. Quinn also has a Soul Crest on top of him. I think they can kill him as well. Yeah. Quinn has no mana. That's the Aegis gone. Can they set up for another arrow? Oh, no. They don't have another arrow. So how do they stop?
Though.
They have a Yules. Constantly Yules him. More Yules. There we go. Second Yules. Set up for the arrow.
All right.
That is ridiculous, by the way. That's so stupid. That was... Okay. Well played, Omega. And now it's looking... Now Quincy Crew is... Going to have a tough time. Because Mingate has enough farm to actually burst down your Ursa. And like I mentioned earlier, because the crits are random, trying to use Enrage to predict the crits, quote-unquote, is very difficult to do.
And pretty much impossible when she Phantom Strikes from halfway across the screen and then immediately Abyssals you to follow up. It's, what do you do? Those are like almost instant, pretty much, because you don't see the Phantom Strike coming because she's blurred, and items have an instant cast time. I mean, I'm not saying the hero's OP, Ice Frog. I'm just saying maybe she shouldn't be able to, you know, be invisible and undetectable from halfway across the screen, and then you're just stunned with nothing you can do. I don't know. Seems a little
I'm on the Lacoste fan club here, and I will say that I think it's just stupid. This hero is broken. Particularly her Ags is quite broken. We haven't even needed this game.
No,
But that's the
we
thing,
need it.
right? This whole time, Omega, if they lost the early, they could have just gone Ags and tried to cut the lanes, and they would have still had a good game, right?
Yeah.
It was Quincy who had to win this early game and had this pressure on top of them, and it still didn't work out.
And
for
let's talk about that, right? Because we do have the PAR count, which lets you know wherever she gets kills. Look at where all these kills are that are happening for Quincy, right? Look at all the daggers here. They're all here in the mid lane, right? Is where I'm drawing, in case you can't see. And yeah, they are just everywhere. I mean, Quincy, they keep trying to take these engagements where they want to push up into the high ground. It looks like that should be kind of their bread and butter sort of area, right? With a Storm, with an Ursa, with a Slardar even, right? And an Io to back you up for when you go deep. But they have just been running into Ice Blast after Ice Blast, and now Mingate is even better than an Ice Blast because he kills you instantly instead of you needing to tick down to 12 HP. It's crazy. We'll see here. As Omega now take a 10k net worth lead here versus Quincy Crew. 29 minutes into the game. They are going to lose a tier 2 here, but they are already threatening for high ground. This time, Oscar, again, missing a Timber Chain there, by the way, casually, does not have the Dark Rift to actually get them out, as they have found a backliner. INS, though, too fast. The arrow nearly connecting. Lois getting blown up, needs the BKB, but the Abyssal Blade going right through that one. See you later. Crit for 1452. The year, actually, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, is it not?
1492, dude.
Whatever, same
At
thing.
least that's when he discovered it. I don't know. That's what they teach me in Spain. Quote unquote discovered, right?
Yeah,
Discovered. People were living there already. Yeah. Anyway, Mingate, he tries to go for MSS. There's the root. Not really going to help MSS. The Ghost Scepter. Just stopping the Stifling Dagger. There we go. The heal from SVG will ensure MSS won't die. And now it's actually Oscar in trouble. Mingate has already burst down Quinn. And Yawar realizes that he can't just man-fight Mingate. You have no
Abyssal
MKB just yet.
Good LSA.
He's
Good
forced to
LSA.
retreat though with a BKB and Enrage both forced out. Even with the LSA as you mentioned, which saves his life, like you still can't go back in. You don't have Queen either to defend your racks. What are you gonna do? This time your high ground defense is not as good as last time either.
Yeah.
And they have good push with Desolator on PA.
Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, they do.
But they've already taken 2 lanes of racks. And they can't take
boys, excuse me, you forgot about something? We're gonna let the creep finish that one off. There we go.
a little present. See, I love that you actually pinged it. It was 0% HP, right?
It was literally 1 HP. I should have alt pinged it. If you control alt ping, it lets you know what their current HP is.
Oh,
Fun
fun
fact.
fact. I did not know that. Okay, that's useful. So now they're gonna push. I'm assuming they're probably gonna try to take the next Roche. Oh, might not even need it actually. That was the idea, that you wait for the next Roche and go for the last lane. There's no need for you to actually play this.
Lalo's just gonna
aggressively.
start a fight, by the way. Just walks on up and bashes him. Gets cold feet in the meantime. It's all a bait though. It's a ruse. And Omega, they're not gonna fall for it. They're gonna be playing it nice and patient.
Okay.
Good old our Spanish commentators are going and having a laugh there. Mantle of Intelligence.
These are not Spanish. They're the Brazilian team. Don't you hear on
okay.
Motoka? There was a Brazilian team. There was like a bike, like a motorbike.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sherlock was one of the, I think it was manager for that team or so. Yeah, yeah.
Let's see.
It's the Brazilian commentators that are having a laugh. They're not confused.
Oh, Flapjack was in there though. He suggested an item.
Flapjack loves, yeah. Most professional caster in SA though. They're gonna take the tower up top, easy for them. And let's see. I mean, they're not really waiting for the Roche. They're not afraid whatsoever of Quincy.
Oh, okay. Well, we do have a big item though on our Ursa,
Which
MKB.
is the MKB. Okay.
If he can last long enough, right?
Oh,
That's
the arrow?
Problem.
This might be
This
the
is a good-
turning point.
This is a good
That-
wraparound.
Yeah, the MKB is really important here. Let's see. The Storm goes in. They go for the PA. Eldritch Vortex. In comes Les as well. Double stun. And can they kill the PA in time? She's lasting a fair amount though. And the Ice Blast turns this around for now.
no.
As Mingate heals back up.
Oh,
They've lost 3 heroes. It's a
That's
bit
it.
too late.
GG.
The Ursa can finish off
Quince called
INS,
it.
but yeah, that's it, dude. Oh, Lelis is disconnected. Apparently they're not even going to stop.
no, it's yeah. It's
There's the GG.
they called it long ago.
Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't see that.
They
Wow.
called it as soon as they did.
Oh, I
kill PA,
have them muted.
basically.
That's why. Okay, so.
Oh, you have them muted?
Well, I have them muted because of the voice lines, not because of the. I
Sure,
apologize.
sure.
I swear.
Okay.
Anyway, wow. I think many, like, people were not expecting a 1-1 between Quincy Crew and Omega. I'm certain that very few people are expecting a 2-0
Yeah,
Omega
seriously.
to Quincy Crew.
I was expecting a 2-0, but hey, not with this outcome.
Yeah,
I'll
I
admit
don't.
it.
Yeah. By the way, guys, for those of you that are trying to excuse him by saying, server change. Nope. They play both matches in North American servers with a North American team, or they should. At least that's what the rules say. So yeah, it wasn't like a server advantage or anything. Not gonna lie, this game, Quincy Crew, I saw them pretty decently in the early game, but it's actually very similar to what I saw last game or what I saw with 4 Zoomers. They seem to oftentimes they'll go into a fight thinking they're stronger, and they'll be shown that they're not, right? And they'll just be bursted down because of that. Omega, actually, the turning point to me was that fight down in the two fights, actually. One fight where the Timbersaw crushed them in a triangle, which was just Oscar being a god. And then the other fight, which was them fighting near the enemy. No, sorry, near their own jungle, right? Where they actually got beat, despite the fact that they were initiating. Both times, just misjudging how strong Omega could be, and they got a bit outplayed because of that.
Yeah,
really impressive, though, by Omega.
I would even go back to the first relocate attempt, right? When they TP mid, and then they just all got ice blasted and melted. I mean, it was just... It was so hard. It was like the opposite of a Spectral Haunt, where they just relocated to Mingate, and Mingate killed him and went, all right, cool, and kept farming. And then eventually he was just way too farmed. I mean, what do you do against a PA that has an Abyssal at, like, what, minute... When does Abyssal come online? Yeah, like minute 26 with a Desolator and a Battle Fury. Like, what? Excuse me?
It's pretty crazy. Mingate had a crazy good game. I'm glad that Omega, at least from this game, I hope they get some recognition they deserve, because they've been playing quite decently the past few months. But today we saw a completely different side of Omega. Absolutely dominant. Particularly to me, the stand-up performers are... I mean, yeah, INS was incredible on the Mirana this game, but Oscar, the whole series was a beautiful display of Dota.
I agree. Good. But this is on the other side, right? While one team rises, another falls. Quincy, they've gone 0-4 here in the past 2 days, as they were 2-0'd by both the Zoomers and now Omega Gaming. So 2 upsets, both of which I think were increasingly perhaps unlikely if you were just to go based on their previous results. But here we are now. Quincy, they are going to be having 4 losses in the group stage, which is maybe as many as people thought they were going to have throughout the entire group stage. And here we go. I think they've only played maybe 3 or 4 matches. So we'll see. It's still early on.
Yeah,
they can still recover. So it's still very early on. But that's going to be it for today, as this is our last match of the day, isn't it, Avo?
Yes, it was. But thank you guys regardless for watching us. It's always a pleasure to have as many viewers as today, enjoying some quality NA and SA Dota. Particularly enjoyable to watch this region because there's a lot of new rising talent. You know, for Zoomers, you had Zero, which has been showing off and popping off lately. Omega as a team is actually rising the Bolivian region literally by themselves, right?
Yep.
It's really impressive, and it's always fun to watch these the players, new players come into the scene, because we need this new blood.
Yeah,
otherwise the scene will not survive.
And speaking of new blood, we got plenty of it tomorrow, as we have 3 more best of 2s. Thunder Predator versus Omega. We have Midas versus Infinity, and the new blood here for NA 0 on the Zoomers is going to be taking on Team Unknown. But those matches are for tomorrow, guys. For today, all you have left to do is go ahead and follow us on whatever platform you're watching, just to make sure you are notified when we go live tomorrow at, 4 p.m. Eastern Time? 3 p.m. Eastern Time, I think?
3 p.m. 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And then it's 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. EU, and 4 a.m. SCA
SGT.
for whatever reason.
Yeah,
if you're watching
for
from
us.
Here.
Yeah,
for us, yeah, exactly.
Alvaro will be back tomorrow. I'm going to have a few days off. But for now, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. On behalf of Avo and myself, we hope you guys stay safe, and we will see you tomorrow or for the rest of the tournament as Realms Collide continues until the end of the month. We'll see you then.